The officially licensed Lord of the Rings Middle-earth Premium Silver Foil is available now exclusively from New Zealand Mint, and is a must-have for all Lord of the Rings collectors and those who love a little bit of movie memorabilia like myself. Housed in its own Perspex case, it's super easy to display in your own collection. Constructed with 35 grams of fine silver, this gorgeous piece is guaranteed legal tender under authority of New A. Limited strictly to 2,000 units, make sure to grab yours now.
Eat my shorts.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Dave Lee Down Under podcast. I'm of course your host, Dave Lee, and this is episode 16. Can't believe it, 16 episodes.
Is it 17 with the bonus one you did at the start?
Yeah, it is 17 with that bonus pilot.
Just wanted the clarity, yeah.
All-time fan, been listening from the
Right.
beginning.
Patreon supporter.
Yes, thank you very much.
No
I appreciate it. You can, of course, join me every single Monday here on the podcast, except for the next two, because I'm going to take a little bit of a break, which will be nice.
Yeah,
it might be
absolutely.
longer, but at least two.
Yeah.
Probably two, I think. The podcast goes out on all major podcasting platforms, and the smaller ones too. Got to give them some love. But the big ones are, of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, and Audible. The visual element is available to view on YouTube, which you're watching right now. If you're watching it, if you're listening, you're not watching it. It goes out 2 days early to Patreon supporters. Otherwise, it goes out on Monday with everyone else.
Absolutely.
You can find me on YouTube at Dave Lee Down Under, over on Twitter, Instagram. Otherwise, there's I don't know why it says otherwise there on my script, but there's links in the description.
Yeah,
down
otherwise
there.
there's links.
Otherwise there's links. You can click through, and the beauty of technology these days, you just go straight there. If you want to write into the show, you can shoot an email over to daveleepod@gmail.com. And if you're listening on podcast platforms, I'd love some reviews. I haven't had a review for a couple of months now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's outrageous. What are you guys doing?
I know.
If you're watching this or listening to this, you've lost your mind. You need to get on that.
Give them a stern talking to.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. If they don't listen to me, they'll listen to you. Of course, the man that's joining me today, I'm so excited.
Me too.
You
I'm
too.
genuinely a fan. Like, it's nice to work with like other people who live in Australia and do this. As I said on my Patreon, I listen every week. It's a great show. So thank you for having me. And I'm
Thanks so
sorry
much.
to Rick. I stole his spot. Yeah.
That's okay. We got, as I was going to say, very first special guest in the studio, which is awesome, and it's a man I've been dying to talk to for so long. Someone whose work I admire so much. I've admired for a very long time. So I can't wait to just pique his brain and just talk shit. Really,
Just rip into me.
yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. It is, of course, James Clement. You may know him better as Goat Han Solo.
That's right.
Or Mr. Sunday Movies.
That's right. All of these things that I've saddled myself with that I now have to explain to people.
Yeah. So many of them. I was getting them in the comments and I was asking for questions like, oh, can you ask whatever nickname?
Oh, happy to answer any and all questions, no problem. Do we cheers? We didn't cheers.
Oh, we didn't do
That's
the
probably
cheers.
my fault.
We'll do a socially
Distance.
Shh, beautiful.
That's what it's all about.
Thank you very much. Have a little
And safe.
water there. So we are doing as I said, this is the first in-studio special guest. So we're doing a very nice socially distanced one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here today. I've got the hand sanitizer over there. It's probably just a bit off camera, but it's there. We've got it. We've done it all.
You guys are so prepared. You got snacks and all.
Got snacks. Beautiful.
That's it. But still, like, the lockdown's gone pretty well here for, at this point. So we're relatively safe regardless. So, yeah.
You just got to take the precautions still. And
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just nice to see other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Other than my
exactly right.
horrible wife. Don't tell her I said that.
I won't
she's
tell
wonderful.
her. So it has been a crazy year.
It really has, yeah. And I know you guys have obviously been like business as usual in a lot of ways, but it's really upheaved. I know a lot of your content as well. Just like things, everything you planned out, you then threw out.
Yeah, pretty much.
But still, I think also that probably led to this, though. I'd imagine, yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly right. It was sort of like I had wanted to do a podcast for a while, but it did give a sort of a kick in the pants to be like, this is the time to kind of start experimenting with some other content. So it has been good. And we will dive a little bit more deeper into that later in the show. Just sort of, because I can imagine for yourself as well, it's just can absolutely upheaval of everything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's been non-stop stuff like in terms of like movie news. I was talking
Yeah.
to Rick before the show about this, but in terms of like stuff coming out, or even quality stuff coming out,
exactly.
it's been a little bit sparse. Yeah,
It's hard to do videos on the latest Netflix drama.
it really is. Yeah, and look, they do have some good stuff, and I know you guys have talked about this as well. But a lot of those Netflix movies, they're not
Not
really
the
that
best.
great, are they?
No.
They're not great. Yeah.
It's the big ones that sort of we base our content around and stuff, and without that, it's been a bit difficult.
That's it. Yeah.
The listeners are excited that
Oh,
you're
good,
on.
thank you,
I've
yeah.
got a couple of comments that have come in. Lucky Dragon says, "Will one podcast be able to handle that much raw Aussie power?"
We have to see. You
We'll
know
have
what I mean?
to see.
Oh,
we're only 5 minutes in. We'll see how we go.
Could come crashing down.
Carter Lovejoy has explained it as the epic crossover of all time. Infinity War and Endgame are quaking. And Ryan's pop culture stuff says, the Australia film fan cinematic universe is looking good. So it's off to a good start.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what have you been up to in lockdown and all that?
Well, just kind of business as usual. As some people may know, my wife and I, my wife had a baby. I was involved somewhat, but if I'm honest, she did most of the heavy lifting, if not all. So a lot of our lockdown would have been that regardless.
Yeah.
It just meant that, you don't have a lot of that family support and friends that you then visit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which also has kind of been nice in a lot of ways because you don't get a million people like racing through your house to stare at your baby. But so look, it would have been a quiet year for us regardless, but no, we definitely had to pivot in terms of like what we were doing in podcasting and like more of a focus on like Caravan of Garbage and like older content and things like that to kind of keep everything in motion. Because I think people are still looking for things to watch and listen and,
for sure.
and reviews and whatever, but you just kind of, do what works. What about you? How have you found it?
Same really. It's been very much business as usual because I'm at home just making content all the time anyway and not really doing anything. So it's been, it's just been a matter of just trying to keep it as normal as usual. Yeah. But again, as you say, the only real difference is that interaction with other people, which is what gets you.
Definitely.
And we've spoken about it in the podcast before, but we went into a 2-week lockdown before like the major lockdown because we had a run in with someone with COVID.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And that 2 weeks of not even being able to leave the house is just like...
Especially when you can't. Like, it's okay. Yeah. Like, if I did 2 weeks at home, I've done that before and not realised that I haven't seen anyone or even, like, checked my phone for 2 weeks. But just being the fact that you cannot leave.
It's the mental thing.
Yeah, totally.
I've just been like, you can't do it.
Yeah, and this was before, like, the testing that it is now where you can go and get the results in 24 hours or whatever. Yeah,
well, because we were in contact with someone and the health department said you can't get a test. Because even though we'd been in contact, it was so early on that it was even like, we don't have enough tests even for close contact, so just stay at home for 2 weeks.
Bloody hell.
So that was just like, it felt like being like a ticking time bomb, almost like, oh my God, I'm getting a headache because they said it started. I've got a sore neck. Oh, what's going on? But yeah, it's been okay. And we're starting to open up a little bit now, which is nice. You've been to a film screening this morning.
I did. I saw, I got to see Wonder Woman 84, which I know you guys have already seen.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the other side of the city for me, which was a pain, but it was nice to go and see something. And I quite liked it. I know you've done a review already, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. We'll talk about it today.
Absolutely.
So was that your first time back to... It's not your first time back to cinema?
I saw Tenet with like me and 2 other people.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, the movie was all right, but just that it was really quiet. It was like middle of the day. And it was... honestly, it didn't feel that... Like, it had really... I don't know. What am I trying to say? It didn't feel like I'd really missed it. It was just kind of like, I know this. And it was just kind of back into it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have eaten this. I've like got
That's
this in my
fine.
mouth.
That's fine.
I've got to chew into the microphone. But yeah, so have you seen anything yet?
No, I haven't been. I was supposed to go and see Wonder Woman in cinemas. Yeah. Something happened at the last minute and it ended up being a screener. Yeah. So I was kind of excited. I was like, actually go and get to see something. And then they just... Yeah, I got the screen. I had to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. It was like a self-destructing thing. And they're like, you've got 3 hours to watch a 2.5-hour movie. So it's like, all right, I'll get up at 5 a.m. Because I did the only reason I got the screener was because I did the virtual press junket thing with international press. And they're like...
Which you weren't allowed to record that, though? Was that right?
We were allowed to record audio, but weren't allowed to release it.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, because you did... I saw you have the clips.
Yeah.
Oh, not, sorry, the text.
Yeah.
But why?
Don't know. It was... I reached out, I said... Can I use... I said, because mine's a visual medium and like an audio medium, can I use the sound, and they're like, oh, sorry, it's designed to be like an intimate conversation with Patty and Gal. Okay. So I just said, all right, that's fine. So they said what you can do is it's for transcription purposes only. But they sent us the picture, so there's that picture of all of myself and all the other international press that did it, and then otherwise it was just, you're only allowed to use transcription. So I've done my best with the interview that I got, but
that seems crazy to me. But hey, whatever. I'm sure they know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, exactly right. It was good. It was great to be involved in. It was a really awesome experience. But and they were like, you have to watch the movie before you do it. You can't go into doing this without having seen the film. So they sent the screener at like 5 a.m. I was like, you got to watch it like bang on then, and then it was straight into the thing.
It was gone. Yeah.
So
guy at the front with a sniper, just waiting to see what did it have like your name in it across the watermark?
Yeah, it did, but it was actually wasn't that bad. Sometimes I get these ones where the name's like right across the middle of the screen.
I've seen some of those. Yeah,
this one was sort of, it would appear in random places, but it would be there for like a minute and then disappear for like half an hour and then come back.
Okay,
so it was a nicer one.
Yeah.
It was actually wasn't too bad. I'd actually prefer all of them to be like that. And these ones that's like right in the eye line of the person.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm dying to get back to a cinema. We'll see. I don't know. At some point.
You could see Die Hard again or whatever they've
watched that last night.
Okay. Not Die Hard then. A different thing.
I wanted to see Tenet, but it's just been a matter of finding time to go and see it. And particularly as something that's been so divisive.
Yeah, it's definitely worth seeing.
Yeah.
And like in the cinema. But also I think it's out digitally now.
Yeah, it's out on it's out digital,
and you've got
home media. Yeah, exactly right.
So yeah.
I'd love to see it in the IMAX.
Oh yeah.
It was made for that format, but we'll see.
That was all right.
I think yeah. Well, I think it's $20 tickets at the IMAX every Tuesday until I don't know, January or something.
Yeah,
so
right.
It might
Okay.
happen.
Yeah, there you go.
Need my time off. We'll see. Otherwise, I'll go buy the disc.
Exactly. Or steal it from the. No, don't. No,
I'm
joking. I'm making jokes.
Bad influence already. We're only 11 minutes in.
I'm chewing. I'm telling people to steal. It's out of control, mate. I apologize.
Wouldn't expect anything more. Anything less. What am I saying?
No wonder Rick didn't want to give me the cowboy hat. He's like, no.
The Deadwood update. People are probably wondering about the Deadwood update.
I know I am, yeah.
You're wondering? I haven't watched a single one since the last time we spoke about it.
It seems like vegetables for you guys. Just like every week you're like, we ate this many Brussels sprouts or whatever. But but you think you might be done though?
We're gonna do it. We're adamant. We're gonna get through it. It's just it's hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard to just be like, let's watch Deadwood. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Do you ever is it the completionist in you to be like, we have to do this?
I think it's so much like we've spent so much time watching it already. I have to finish it.
Totally.
There's another show we were watching, Future Man. I was raving about it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but then it goes off, right?
It goes really bad. Yeah. Awful.
Oh,
One of the worst things.
Yeah.
One of the worst things ever.
Is that YouTube Red?
I know it was on it was on something weird.
Right?
Yeah. It was on a weird thing. Yeah. They must have played on Foxtel or something here.
Okay, yeah.
But we finished season 2. It was just like even the last 3 episodes of season 2 was like, oh my God.
Killing
just
me.
Can't get through it. Seth Rogen pops up at the end. You're like, all right, okay. So they brought Seth Rogen in to try and get the viewers back.
Yeah,
but it's just not. Season.
I'm a big fan of just like, now, especially because I feel like I have less and less time as I get older. It's not like you just get more responsibilities. I feel you don't lose stuff; you just get stuff just piles on top of things you're already doing. But I just quit stuff. Like I'll get 10 minutes in, I'm like, fuck it, no, I'm out. I don't have time for this.
I don't know. I've never been able to do it.
I used to. To be fair, I would I'd totally I beat every game, and now I've just got a shelf of games that I've barely played, and that's the way it is.
I'll probably get to that point, I'm sure.
Yeah, you'll be boring.
Deadwood
like me,
might be the tipping point.
That's right, yeah.
We'll see. What else have you been watching anything? Otherwise, like at home, obviously there's...
Yeah, a bit of everything. Because, because obviously you have to constantly kind of watch stuff to keep up, and, there's never enough time. I recently finished The Detectorists, which is written by and starring and directed by Mackenzie Crook from the British Office. The wooden eye guy from Pirates. It's fantastic. It's just like a really low-key, just dudes metal detecting in like a small English country town. And it's mostly just that, but it's about like family and growing up and what do you want to be and all this kind of, just a real quaint, like quietly funny, really, really great show that I'd thoroughly recommend. Because I'm probably like you, but I watched a lot of BBC, like UK stuff growing up. So I do have that kind of affinity for those kind of shows. So and it's a good one. So what about you? Deadwood, obviously.
Deadwood, no, that hasn't happened for a few weeks. Been watching just random stuff. We've been watching a lot of Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I knew I said I wasn't going to do like the whole month thing, but
That's
we just
right,
got
yeah.
stuck in a rhythm of watching one a night, some of our favourite ones. And then we spent this week watching like the Christmas episodes of The Office, the American one.
Yeah,
like
cool.
all the Christmas special ones. So we watched them. And now we're on to the Frasier ones.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So,
awesome.
yeah,
That's great.
A bit of an eclectic
Nothing wrong
mix of
with that.
stuff, but it's been okay. And I don't know. We'll see if we get back into Deadwood or anything like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, movies.
Is there a
stuff.
Christmas episode of Deadwood?
I don't know. Probably not. Not so far.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. I don't know. I don't know. Otherwise, other than that, that's been about it.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched anything else. I don't think. I don't know.
There's too much stuff.
There's so much.
I don't know
stuff.
how people do it who their job isn't to watch stuff.
I know.
to be
Yeah, I know.
honest.
I know. It's just even finding the time. I say we'll talk about this later, but this Disney investor meeting thing where they're going over how much stuff from Disney alone is coming out in the next 3 years. It's almost like 10 years worth of content in 3 years.
Exactly.
It's just so much stuff. Now, before we get any further in, I do have some sponsor plugs. Otherwise, the sponsors will get annoyed with me.
Well, good.
But not mentioned.
No, I understand. No, I'm all about sponsors, absolutely.
All right, I've got a couple to get through here. Of course, the New Zealand Mint continuing to sponsor the podcast all the way through December. They've just launched their Lord of the Rings line with their first Lord of the Rings collectible, 35-gram premium foil, which is like a big note. It's essentially
I texted it to my brother because he's a big Lord of the Rings fan, and he actually got one.
Did he?
Through you. I'm like, check this
Awesome.
out. Yeah.
I hope the Mint are listening to that. No, it's really cool. Really cool. Like, it's essentially like a big banknote made of silver, but because it's made of silver, it's a coin, technically a coin. So you can go head to nzmint.com, pick yourself up one of those. There's like DC stuff, there's Harry Potter stuff, Disney stuff, Star Wars stuff as well. Heaps of that over there, nzmint.com. Of course, my friends over at kicks.com.au are running their Kicksmas sales. They've got some great deals on 4K discs, which they're really pushing at the moment. 4K ultra high definition bundles, and there's a Spider-Man bundle, Transformers one, science fiction, horror, war films.
Boo. No.
Kids films.
Great.
Yeah. Bestsellers.
Awesome.
All that stuff.
This
There's a
sounds
whole lot of
incredible.
them. Yeah. They've also got 2 for 40 4Ks on the moment on a range of 150 titles.
Some good names on here.
Yeah. Invisible Man, War of the Worlds, Days of Thunder, Scarface, Gemini Man. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Spider-Man, all the Spider-Mans, all the Jurassic Parks, and Mission Impossibles, all that stuff.
Some good stuff there.
There's some great stuff. And of course, my good friends over at Shock Entertainment, I should put these a bit closer. They're doing these great box sets. They've done they sent me over about 12 of these, and I've been sort of advertising these throughout the month. There's Robert De Niro one, Goldie Hawn one, a whole bunch of them. They got 10 films in there.
Midnight Run. I got to watch.
It's
Midnight
actually really
Run.
good.
Yeah,
I watched
that's
that earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Really good. Just like one of those really weird, quirky, like under the radar kind of comedy things. And yeah, it's got 10 DVDs in there.
Look at
How's that?
Look at that. It's perfectly placed as well.
Yeah, beautiful. So there you go. You can go and check them out. You can pick them up at JB Hi-Fi or at Shock's website. Either way, you can pick them up. There you go.
I will.
Yeah.
You've convinced me again.
Awesome. All right. So that's the plugs done. Now I want to pick your brain a little bit.
Let's do it.
I know a few people want to just get a little glimpse behind the scenes there. So
Under the
we'll
grey hair. What's going on there?
I don't know. You were saying before, it's just happened.
It's crazy. It's out of control. I don't know what happened. I catch myself in the mirror sometimes and I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I used to have like you, like really dark hair. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. Please go on. Enough about how old I am.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Well, let's talk a little bit about your career and all that stuff. How you got into it, how you going, all that stuff. You started as a primary school teacher
I did.
before you get into all this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I initially did a business degree. I did a marketing degree, which I was really bad at, and I only completed so I could make it into teaching, do a postgrad in teaching.
Yeah.
So I scraped through, then did a teaching degree, and then I was a primary teacher for 8 years, 9 years. I can't remember. A long time, but not that long actually, I guess. But off the side of that, I've always had an interest in movies and comic books and TV shows, and just started this kind of side thing that probably like you didn't necessarily expect was going to go anywhere. I know you've got more of a traditional media background, so you probably had a better idea what you were doing than I did at the start. But yeah, that's essentially my backstory. Yeah, I was a primary teacher, and then the year that my son was born happened to transition with the money kind of being enough to live off, and then from end of 2015 was when I went full time doing that. Yeah, in a nutshell.
Yeah. So you sort of started some of these facts I've got here, I pulled off
Sure.
the weekly Planet Wiki.
Oh, yeah.
There's some dubious stuff on there.
There's some lies on there, mate. Don't you worry. But I can set it straight.
Set them straight. But yes, 2011, you started writing on comicbook.com.
Yeah. Oh, 2011, I started YouTube.
Yeah.
And that was the channel that got shut down. That was in 2013. That got cancelled. So that's gone. I got flagged for something, and you can't contact anybody. And I just hit like 10K subs, and it was just gone. So then I had to restart.
Yeah.
So it might have been 2013. I was at Comic Book Movie, but yeah, I was emailing around all like the big sites to be like, do you want some videos? Do you want someone to write for you or whatever? And I nearly got onto Screen Rant, and then that fell through, and then I just got out of the blue from Comic Book Movie from something might have been an Iron Man 3 review, and then kind of went from there for a little bit. Yeah.
What was the first ever video you did for that first channel?
The first one, it was like a movie news video. It wasn't like dissimilar from like this. Just like it's not good. Like I don't even know. It's gone as well. I don't think I've got a copy of it anywhere. It's on an old computer. But yeah, it was just like, this is coming up. I think it was talking about the next Fast and Furious. And I did it in black and white for some reason as well. Because I'm like, it's like the news, like a newspaper, so black and white. Which in hindsight, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so that's how that was my very first one.
Wow. So you just sort of just on a whim just decided to start doing. On a whim,
and just I recorded on my iPhone, just the audio, and just cut up the track, and then put my very basic editing skills to work, and that was it. And then eventually, like 3 years later, there was some traction. But,
so it took three years.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I honestly feel like I've won like a mid-tier lottery.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's very kind of difficult to because there's so much content on YouTube, obviously, or everywhere, but just like to get that little bit ahead and to make a career out of it, there's luck involved, and you kind of game the algorithm, or sometimes it favors you and sometimes it doesn't, as I'm sure you've seen. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much, that's how that went. Yeah.
Was there a lot of like the kind of content that you do? Was there a lot of that on the platform before you were doing it?
I think so, a little bit. I mean, because I also did a lot of movie reviews, and there was like your Chris Stuckmans and Jeremy Jahns and John Flickingers, and also, of course, you got your Screen Junkies and people like the Schmoes and people like that who, they were obviously like well more established and still are than me. Yeah. But so there was people doing it, but it's definitely evolved more like since then. Because you look at it now in the landscape of movie content, it's very varied and nuanced, which I not that it wasn't then, not that those people aren't still doing those things, but it's such a breadth of opinions, which
there's so much out there.
There's a lot of terrible opinions. But that's opinions, isn't it?
Exactly.
Anybody can say anything. Yeah. How did you find like making a name for yourself? Because I know it was the Cartoon Evolution was the thing that
that's
like really
the thing
like
that
broke
really
through.
Similar thing was like 3 years. It took me to get like my first 10,000. I think when I first met you was
The Last Jedi screening.
The Last Jedi, yeah.
Good movie, I think.
I loved it. We both
liked it.
I remember you sitting there going, this is so good. This is awesome.
And look, it's actually the release of The Last Jedi. It's 3 years this week, right? Or when we're filming this. But that moment when Luke Skywalker walks out,
that's right.
That was just like, I'm going to turn and be like, holy shit.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, getting a bit off topic, but coming out of a screening like that where everyone's actually buzzing, and you go home, you think, fuck, everyone's going to love this. I filmed my review. I was like, this movie's going to be so good. I can't wait for people to see it. You wake up in the morning and everyone's like, this is the fucking worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. It's so weird.
And look, I do understand like a lot of those opinions. Like, it's Star Wars, like all things are subjective, but yeah, I was a little bit surprised at how much people hated like a lot of it, because I think even if you didn't like it, it takes some swings which I think are good, which I think the next one doesn't. Yeah, I think we shared similar opinions. But to be fair, like for the first half of that movie, I'm kind of like, I don't know, like where is this going? Like it was just kind of people are going here and there, and there's a casino planet, and Luke's like, I don't really want to do this, and I'm like, okay, and then like the throne room scene. That was where everything, not to spoil it, but when he gets like cut in half, then the whole thing just fucking flips. And for me, that really works. Yeah. Not for everybody. No. I know some people like about that fight scene. They're like, well, that stunt man, you see him waiting there and that one, he's holding his axe, but then the axe disappears. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about any of that to me. But anyway, if you hate it, I understand, because a lot of people tell me they do.
Yeah, well, every day. I hear it all the time. But then I think I was on 6,000 maybe at the time.
Yeah, right.
And my first video that really sort of, like, it wasn't huge. I think it was maybe, it was like 500. My first 500,000 view video was on the back of that. It was some video that I did on that. And that got me over 10,000 by that Christmas. And then, it was really that Cartoon Evolution. I started with the Disney ones.
Yes.
This was last year or end of 2018. Oh, yeah, because the Mickey Mouse 90th anniversary thing in November of 2018. And that one went really well, and that hit 100,000. I was like, it's really nice. I'll do one for Donald Duck or Goofy or whatever I did next. And that did the same, plus some.
Yeah.
I thought, I'll do another one.
Wait a minute.
And then they just kept. So that was the one thing that was almost like, so this is really starting to take off then. But it is a long slug. And it is like, it's one of those things where it's just like, you can work your butt off, but at the end of the day, it is all luck.
Yeah,
it's down to the algorithm. It's down to timing. I put up a number of my evolution videos this year have underperformed really badly.
Yeah, right. Do you think that's because of characters or timing?
I think it's a bit of everything. It's almost like even with the COVID thing, a lot of people stopped watching. Yeah. And I think even just some of the characters maybe weren't ones that people that are interested in.
Yeah, right.
Stuff like that. But then I did one last month, which was the Animaniacs one. It blew up.
Yeah.
It's like 600,000, almost 600,000 views.
And I guess that also ties into that is back. Like, I can imagine when Space Jam comes around, and, if you do it, I don't want to spoil what you're doing. Not that I actually know what you're doing, but definitely, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I found that with the ones that I do, if you time them correctly, they tend to do better, but you just can't predict it.
And sometimes things like they don't catch on until much later. And then you look like 6 months and you're like, shit, that's got like 400,000 views. And I just just wrote that off. I didn't even think about it. And it gets caught in the algorithm and suddenly starts getting referred to people.
I just noticed the other day, actually, one that I did, the Scooby-Doo one, that was the first one that just did not move at first.
It's really surprising because
I was shocked. I was like, oh no, this one's not performing well. Now it's like my fourth most viewed one. It's on like 400, 500,000 views or something. So that's one that's just taken a little bit of time. But even that the Bugs Bunny one was the very first non-Disney one I did, and I was just shit my pants about, like, oh my god.
You thought people were going to be like, what the hell,
what
man?
Are you doing? I had people going, do Looney Tunes, do this, do something, and I thought, you know what, I'd exhausted all the Disney characters. I'm going to have to do it. And I was actually really shocked. That's like my number one now. Yeah. That's my number one video ever, 1.2 million or something.
Oh, awesome. And that also, like, in hindsight, that makes so much sense that would work. But I can see why, because I know originally, because when you were Disney Dave, there would be that reluctance to be like, do people actually want to see this? Exactly. Because sometimes you get punished for slightly changing something.
Yeah. Well, that's part of why I wanted to rebrand so early.
Totally.
I think I'd hit like 2,000 or 3,000, and I almost thought, well, I've got like somewhat of a seed of a following. I don't want to leave it too much longer when I can't do it. And you feel like a bit of a knob when you're trying to. I was doing vlogs and stuff at that time. Hey, Disney Dave here. And I just needed to rebrand.
Everyone was vlogging.
Exactly right. I still do it a little bit.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Yeah.
But yeah.
I need this snake. Sorry, don't mind me.
Yeah, you can have the orange. I don't like the orange.
I haven't been eating sugar. This is not a good idea for me. Yeah.
God, won't tell your wife.
no, she's pretty good. She's like, you should eat more. You look like shit. No, I keep rubbishing my wife. She's wonderful. She's the best person I know.
Got to rib you a little bit. Now, you do strictly narration-based stuff. Now, I remember you telling me, I don't know if I've remembered this correctly or not, but you're doing the narration stuff so that the students didn't find you on YouTube?
Well, it's also like, it's a number of things. That was like initially it. Yeah. Not that I also thought that nobody's going to find this. Yeah. So it wasn't a problem. Yeah. I actually had a few students towards the end being like, are you this guy? And I'm like, that's crazy. Why would I be that guy? Yeah. I'm this guy. I'm the guy you see every day. But so yeah, it was partly that. It's partially like, I'm not good with cameras and things like that. I can hold a phone and set up like a very basic thing, but I kind of like how you've set up this. If I do film something, I want to do it properly. Also, don't really like being on camera. If I'm honest, it's not my forte. Yeah, I'm like you guys you're pros at this.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're doing TV, mate. You're doing TV in like late 2000s. Yeah,
want to call it TV? I don't know.
It was on TV.
It was on TV. Yeah, it was a bit of fun. We learned a lot doing that show. It was a learning curve more than anything, but yeah, it was on TV. I got recognised by like 3 people.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, even the things that you do, this is a very common piece of advice, but it all adds up to something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, exactly.
I'm slightly better at public speaking because something I hate and don't like doing, but when we occasionally do live shows, because with teaching, you just do it.
Yeah.
And then when I got up there, I'm like, oh shit, I'm good at this. Well, not good at it. I can do it, I should say.
Yeah.
And it's just because I just happen to be doing it. You know, you don't really realize what you're picking up on the way.
Yeah. Well, I don't do a lot of to camera stuff anymore. I've found that the stuff where I do narration performs better than anything where I'm on camera.
So they don't like your face.
What you want to pull from that, you know? But yeah, I feel the only stuff I really do to camera now is like if I do like a movie review or something like that. And now I tried doing movie reviews with narration.
Yeah.
But the first time I applied for accreditation with Rotten Tomatoes, they said we can't accredit you unless your reviews are on camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a odd rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't count. I think because it's a narration, they counted an editorial, so they don't count editorials or rankings or things like that as a review.
Okay.
So unless you're sitting there on the.
But what about if you're like a podcast? So like, you know, like the Commode and Mayo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also filmed, to be fair. But
I think it depends on on what you're trying to apply as, or because you don't just have to get accreditation for yourself, you have to get it for your outlet as well.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it probably is on an outlet by outlet basis. So like people that are doing newspaper reviews, there's probably a set of guidelines, and it's probably the same with podcasts, probably a set of guidelines that you have to fit in. And one of the guidelines was had to do. Well, they said we don't have any like minimum or maximum amount of reviews you have to do a month, but we'd prefer that you do at least 3 a month.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So
okay. Do you find that actually helps? Like people click through to your videos through that? Because you can track that through YouTube.
A little bit.
There you go. So it is.
You know,
and it's a bit of legitimacy as well when people
exactly right.
wanted sponsors or you're up for whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I got my one of my quotes was used in the Mulan trailer.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So there you go.
That was really actually it's. After the Rotten Tomatoes accreditation, I've found that I am being taken a little bit more seriously by the PR teams and what. I mean,
I guess
else.
they would look to that, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because they're not just going to pick any random person and then
exactly
find out that he's he's saying the N word. 40 videos or whatever, which is a thing people do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
I think really that Mulan would have been off the back of the Rotten Tomatoes because that was not long after that. And it was the first time where they were like, oh, hey, can we use your quote in this? So it does give you a bit more legitimacy, I think. Yeah. So it's just little small baby steps.
Yeah, little bits and pieces, yeah. I've never applied. I probably should apply for that, but...
Yeah, I reckon.
I don't know. I can't be bothered.
It's a really weird process. You apply and you don't hear back for 6 months.
Yeah, I know. I've heard a few people have similar stories that, it takes a while. Also, I don't really do reviews on YouTube anymore because I find the speed that you have to put them out is it can... either colour my opinion or I just feel like I don't get out exactly what I want to say. And for me as well, one of the things I did getting started with doing reviews, and it's getting that quick is so important, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be good to be seen, it has to be quick, which is
exactly.
a whole other thing.
It must be like if you're at a preview screen and you got to get home and record it and get it out. Yeah. It was like that I remember I had to get home and you did your video and I had mine up and it's just like, you got to get it up in that, you got like that little window that it has to go out or it just doesn't get seen. And
you're racing the states for when they have their screenings and everything as well. Yeah, absolutely.
And usually the embargo's already opened in the States.
Yeah, exactly.
By the time we get to see the film.
It's already done. So, but yeah, then every now and then you get a Marvel movie, which is
opens here early,
or something like that.
Which is beautiful. Well, actually, the Infinity War one, I went home and did like an end credit scene video.
Yeah, right.
And that was my first one to hit 1 million.
Right.
And that was because we saw that. It was essentially like 3 days before
it
the
was.
US.
It was like a Monday or something. Yeah, a Monday or a Tuesday. Yeah, that's right.
I think because we had Anzac Day or something. I think it was Anzac Day, Memorial Day or something. Right. We opened it in one of them.
Yeah.
And then you got out for the holiday. So that was good. That was another one that kind of...
You bloody just get in there, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Your podcast, talking about the podcast,
sure,
2017?
Actually, I think that was 2013. I think you might have had it on here. Yeah, 2013.
2017 is the Planet Broadcasting
Network.
That's
a different thing.
So 2013, the podcast, now that's kind of that spins out of the YouTube channel.
So that was with my friend Nick Mason, friend of the show probably. But we knew each other when we were teenagers. We've now known each other 20 plus years somehow. But so we always just have conversations like this, and so it came down to we've been talking about it for maybe 10 years prior, or since podcast became a thing of being like, hey, we should do something. Then we're like, we don't really know what we're doing or talking about. So, and then off the back when we had a little bit of a following on YouTube, it's like, well, I can link these things together and we could do something fun. And something we actually enjoy doing. Well, I do. I don't know whether he does, but and similarly, like you tied into all your other content. So initially, I'd edit clips from that and put it on YouTube, which would be like, and then post on Comic Book Movie and all those different things. And yeah, that's how we got started. And it's probably the most fun thing I do because you've got someone to bounce off as well. And then we started doing more videos together, like Caravan of Garbage and things like that, which I also enjoy and involve a bit more research than people probably think. But the editors in general, but Ben, who does those, does a fantastic job. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Yeah. So the Planet Broadcasting Network, 2017. Now that's off the back of that.
That's off the back of that.
Explain a little bit about.
The idea is just to get a bunch of Australian podcasters, like comedians, different kind of voices, and trying to, and they basically act as a platform where they can, at the hub to, not to kind of pull everybody together and then, put that out there in the world. And it's also a way of getting everybody sponsorship as well. The idea is as well that, you kind of promote each other a little bit just to kind of get it out there. And also that nobody's like locked in. So if you're a member, you're not tied in and we don't take all of your money. Yeah. And then we own your thing. It's like, no, you own your thing. And if you want to do a different thing, then you can go do a different thing. And so that's essentially the idea, to just kind of get some voices out there. And a lot of those people are they're all great. They're all really great. Auntie Donna, of course, recently. Yeah. They're more success. They would have been successful regardless, but they've got the podcast there as well. And it's really terrific. Yeah. I think. Anyway.
That's awesome. The good thing is, at least you've got all these different businesses you got going with the YouTube, the podcasting. So if YouTube decides it wants to upend itself,
exactly,
you've got something to fall back on. I remember
the plan,
you telling me something about that at one point.
Exactly, just a whole lot of plates spinning, and if one falls down, which it did with the start of COVID, and YouTube revenue fell off a cliff. Mm-hmm. It bounced back, for me at least, reasonably quickly.
2 or 3 months.
But now we've got like a subscription service that we do and things like that. So now if the podcast falls down, we've got this. Yeah. And you know what I mean? It's just like all... And it's also things that you want to do. You don't want to do something just because you're doing it. Yeah. So that's the idea.
At least once every year, there's something with YouTube where it's like, this is the end. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the one.
Somebody films a dead body or whatever. Yeah, you're right. And then all the sponsorships, our sponsors pull out. And
Well, for me, the big one last year, the copper law came in, which was like, you can't do children's content. And I don't aim my content at children. Yeah. It's for... Like my demographic is between 18 and like 45 or something is my core demographic.
That's right, about mine,
but because I've got videos with cartoon characters and stuff under the copper laws, which were just non-descriptive, and YouTube, of course, wouldn't answer the questions because this is an FTC thing, we can't step in. Yeah. It was almost like, shit, well, can I not do these? Because one of the guidelines was videos with cartoon characters is considered as
pretty broad. Yeah. Because then, like, what do you do for, like, Rick and Morty or whatever? Exactly. Where's the line?
Yeah.
So vague.
I know.
But they obviously intentionally do that so they don't have to have a hard line on.
Exactly right.
And then anything in particular.
But I had a little bit of trouble at the beginning. They flagged a bunch of my videos.
Yeah, right.
And I overturned it, luckily, and that was fine. I haven't had any issues since. Yeah. But there's always something like that comes up every year. It's almost like, this is it. This is going to be the end.
You'd absolutely, and it could just be your channel in particular as well. It might not be a site-wide thing. Exactly. I thought I'd lost my channel the other day because I went to log in and like the YouTube was down, like my page was down. I'm like, oh shit, I've been wiped again. Yeah. And it turned out that YouTube and Google were just, you probably know, just down. So that to me, I was like, whew, everything's down. Thank goodness everybody's in dire straits. It's not just me.
It's happened twice.
Yeah, it's been, I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know.
Someone's kicking some plugs out of the wall over there. Yeah.
So you are doing all these things. You're so busy.
To be fair, like there's a really good team of editors. Like I mentioned Ben, Matt, Mitch, Collings, who does editing, but also like he edits the podcast. He does a bunch of socials and site stuff, and he does so much as well. My wife obviously does a bunch of stuff, and we have Claire. We do a podcast together. Mason's obviously he seems like he's doing nothing, but he's doing stuff. Don't you even worry about it. So it's not just me. Like initially it was just me, which was very difficult. So now It seems like there's more going on than there probably is. I'd imagine, just allocating stuff to people.
The team just kind of lightens the load a bit.
Exactly.
What's like a week to week for you?
It's kind of all over the place, to be honest. Like me and Mason record normally on a Sunday, and then go out. The show goes out on a Monday. The podcast, that is, around the same time as yours, or the YouTube element of that, and then we'll meet on Thursday to record a bunch of Caravan of Garbages and videos or whatever. And then it's just in between that, it's just editing audio and sending it off and to the editors and, kind of brief discussions about how to do that and like a little bit of socials. But it doesn't really look like one thing. It's whenever I can get like a minute, like if my kid's at kindergarten, then I'm like, right, I can sit down and do this, or, I'll have the baby and then Claire will do something, and do you know what I mean? It's whenever I can do it. So I know for you, it's like you wake up in the morning, you watch a movie, and your day starts. I don't really have that. I think I will more next year because my son's starting school. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit more normality. But then once the kid starts to move, the new one, then that'll change again. So it's not like it's not set in stone. It's not very exciting. Yeah, but it's also trying to watch stuff and at night. I also work a lot at night. Like I work late because it's just quiet.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I try and have this. I don't have like a real schedule. I have a bunch of stuff I need to do, and I'm like, well, I'll try and get this done today, do this done, and whenever it happens, like I try and say I get up, I'll watch something, and then I get into work by 9. But half the time, I'm just like I can't be bothered. Yeah, I get into it at 11, but then I end up working till like 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. And it's you got to juggle everything else around, like all people, like all jobs. Right. Yeah, you got to shopping and friends and whatever. It's life things that people you understand things, doing things. So, I wish I had a more exciting kind of like, and I'm on Hollywood red carpets, I'm shaking hands with Tom Cruise or whatever. No, I've never met anybody very, very, very famous. Though you have. Couple. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to know. I'd love to be at a point where I could be making enough to just pay someone to edit something or something like that. So just because there's so much I want to do, and I do this. I've done this the last couple of months where I've been like, I release like a list of stuff I'm going to do throughout the month to subscribers and stuff. And a lot of the time there's 1 or 2 things on there that I don't get around to because it just gets so busy. Yeah. I just love to be able to go, I'm going to write this stuff, I'll narrate it, and then ship it off to someone else to sort of edit.
To make it, exactly, yeah. And it took, it was a slow process for me. It was initially like Collins was doing the socials. That was just something he just did, and we weren't paying him, and now he's like a full-time. Yeah. We pay him like a full-time wage, and then like Ben came in to help with the editing, and it was like a slow process. But I never extended myself more than I could afford. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like if I pay somebody something, I try to make sure that video makes
the revenue back.
That back. You know what I mean? And more often than not, it does. And also, you don't want to like underpay people. No, obviously, exactly right. So you don't want people doing stuff for free or giving them next to nothing. So so it's tricky. I wish I had an answer, but it's just it's hard. It sucks.
That's right. Well, you're doing well, which is good. Are you making?
It's not that hard. I say teaching was harder. I say people have much harder jobs. Yeah. What am I talking about?
It is a weird thing to do.
I don't know about you, but I don't really tell people when I meet them. They're like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "I used to be a teacher, but now I'm like a podcasting."
Yeah, I never quite know what to say. Never quite know.
Also, people don't care, which is fine.
No, exactly right. Yeah,
nobody cares.
We briefly said this year has been weird on the platform. Yeah. Revenue did a little dip and came back up, and just all these kinds of particularly with no big movies coming out or anything. And of course, you focus on all the big comic book blockbusters and all that kind of stuff that you base all your content around. I know me as someone who's a smaller creator, complete upheaval of everything I wanted to do for the year. Yeah. I sit there and I plan at the beginning of the year. I've only been doing this the last couple of years when I've been taking it a bit more seriously. But I sit there and I go, okay, well, I look at all the big release dates for the year. Mm-hmm. I go, okay, I need to do this. I might do like a ranking video to coincide with this. Yep. I'll do the review. I'll do whatever else. So I'll sit there at the beginning of the year to plan out the whole year. And this year, it was like, oh, this movie's been delayed. All right, cross that out. Yep. We won't do that. Move that to the end of the year. Yeah, exactly. Oh, this one's been delayed. Yeah. Then got to a point where it's like, no, you have to throw it all out. Yeah. It's done. And even with like a lot of these movies that are going to Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever, they drop the trailer the week before it goes out.
That's right,
like, shit, so I got to cover this.
Don't even know.
But for you, doing all these big things, I've noticed you were experimenting a lot with the kind of content that like, you had to. You had to kind of experiment with.
In a way, it's been kind of nice not to chase something every week. Because one of my favourite things to do is like Caravan of Garbage work and be like, earlier this year we did the Spider-Man. Maybe that was last year. Yeah. I don't know. What are years anymore? But like you're just being like, okay, for example, we recently did the Tim Allen Santa Claus trilogy. And just being able to go, normally this would be a month where it would be like a Star Wars release or whatever. And I'd not have to, but you do something related to that, and it's nice to be able to go, let's just pick something fun that people want to see and whatever. And like we did 3 of the Mission Impossible movies, which you probably wouldn't have normally done because of other releases. So it's been nice to kind of do, like, not necessarily have the content like dictate what you do, and a bit more freedom in that way, which I think I might even stick to a little bit after everything comes back, because next year, everything's what a year.
I don't know.
But just like every week there's a new thing, and on top of the Marvel shows and the HBO Max stuff is coming home, and it's going to be chaotic. Yeah.
No, I've had to experiment a bit, but I've found it freeing as well to be able to just do stuff. Even like the cartoon evolutions and stuff, just it's given me more time to focus on them, because they might take me 2 weeks to do. And not having to stick to that one thing is pretty good. But yeah, crazy. I had a dip in revenue. Yeah, it must have been like March or something. Real bad.
Yeah, right.
Like I'd not, but like
that sounds
so
right,
low
right.
that was like almost like I haven't been paid, this level for a long time.
Yeah,
but it crawled up pretty quickly, so everything got back to normal. But I did a poll. Not that polls are usually, sometimes I do a poll and the opposite thing to what the people have voted is like what actually turns out being.
Yeah, right.
But I did a poll which was like, why? And I think it coincided with a lot of the evolutions kind of underperforming as well. So I was like, why are these getting lower views and stuff? Why is the content not performing as well? And it was stuff like 2020, haven't had much time to view, all these other stuff. And that was kind of what came out at the end. People were like, I'm like 80%. It was like 2020.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And it was funny because when everything happened, people were saying, oh, everyone's going to be on YouTube watching your stuff now, or you're going to get so many views. It was completely the opposite.
Yeah, you can't, you couldn't rely on that, definitely. Like I don't think, I'm probably about the same as I was last year. I don't really look at it that hard, but yeah, it didn't like shoot up.
Yeah,
because I think I don't know if people are watching more stuff. Probably people are still working a lot of the time anyway, or stressed because what are they going to do kind of situation, because the world's fucked.
Yeah, exactly. I've found it's gotten better now. I've had a really good couple of months myself.
December's good for CPMs as well, which is good. Yeah.
And I don't know. I think what I'd heard from a lot of people was that they do a lot of their commuting. They do a lot of their viewing while they're commuting to work and back.
Of course, yeah, right.
So you'll lose a lot of viewers when people are not going to work.
That's
anymore.
true. Well, that's a good point, because since I quit teaching, I listen to less podcasts now. Like I watch more stuff because I'll just prop something up while I'm doing whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's probably that makes sense to me. Yeah. What a year though. What are years?
It's been weird, hasn't it? I know.
I don't like it.
It's weird because it feels like it's gone really quick, like we're in December already.
Yeah.
But you think back, you're like, shit, it's been a long slog.
But if you're like, it's April, I'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like, it's like last April, John. It's all right.
Almost had something fall down.
No, something did fall down.
Something did.
Yeah.
No, we got it.
Don't worry about it.
So we didn't have many like real big movies or anything like that this year.
No.
But we did have some smaller stuff.
Yeah.
What's kind of some of your favourite, or what kind of stuff will you watch, like newer release stuff on like Netflix and all that kind of stuff?
I need a list. You wrote some things down.
I did. I wrote some suggestions
good, because
stuff.
That's good for. Oh, this is great. This is great. I started Bad Boys, didn't watch it. Invisible Man was good. I like that a lot. I quite liked Birds of Prey. I know a lot of people didn't. Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, I quite liked that. Borat, I liked. Milan was. I know you liked it.
Yeah.
I don't think I disliked it as much as a lot of people disliked it. I liked that it tried different things than the animated one. But obviously there's all controversy surrounding that. Which, I'd love to recap. Tenet was fine. It was all right.
Yeah,
it was all right.
Got to get to it.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading a list.
No, you're right. That's good.
Trial of the Chicago 7 was excellent. I loved that. Yeah. Bill and Ted's was fun. New Mutants was...
Still haven't watched it.
No, it was... I have.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah. Oh, you're... sorry, yeah.
No.
No, you'll be fine. I haven't seen Onward. Do you like Onward?
That was good, yeah. I watched it... Have I watched it twice now? I think I've watched it twice now. It is really good.
Yeah.
I think that's the last thing I saw in a cinema, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mine was Bloodshot.
Oh.
Is that right?
I watched that a couple of weeks ago. It was okay.
It's okay. Yeah. It's fun. Yeah. Call of the Wild I didn't see. The dog put me off.
Yeah.
It was weird.
A little bit.
Yeah. What did you think?
CG.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's weird at first and then you get used to it.
Yeah.
I think you understand why they did did it for that
because it
particular
does
film.
things that they couldn't get a dog to emote or physically do, right?
And that's just because of the particular story, but the dog is like a main character sort of thing. It made sense. I thought they pulled it off pretty well, but it is one of those things at first you're like, that's weird.
It's upsetting. I like it. Yeah. The Gentleman was great.
Yeah.
Is that this year?
That. Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Oh, shit.
That was very early this year.
I'm one of the few. I think you might be the same. I quite liked Guy Ritchie's Aladdin.
Yes.
I was like, This is, I know people hate that, but I was like, this is all right. Come on.
It was good fun.
I also understand why someone would hate that. I quite liked it. But The Gentleman I really loved. Like a lot of his movies I've kind of gone off, but The Gentleman I really liked. Sonic was a good kids movie, I feel.
Yeah, it was fun.
Same with you?
Yeah, same. It was just light and fluffy sort of.
My son loved it, and that's not everything has to be for me. So
exactly
I'm okay with that. The Banker, is that the Anthony Mackie
Anthony
one?
Mackie and who else was in that? I can't remember who else was in that. It was really good.
Okay.
Really good.
Because I do have Apple Plus.
Yeah.
So I should. Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
It's not a show, is it?
No, it was just a movie. I think it was like their first original movie.
Just a movie.
And exactly. I think because I've got the free Apple TV Plus. It's the only thing I've watched on Apple TV Plus.
Actually, one thing I did watch on there, which I really liked, was Defending Jacob, the Cris, one of the Chris's, the Captain America one.
Chris
I should know
Hemsworth.
this. No, the other one.
Oh, Chris Hemsworth. Jeez. Chris
I'm
Evans.
Evans.
Chris Evans. Yeah.
His son is like accused of this crime, and he's a defense lawyer or something. Right. And it's really good. I really enjoyed it. So if you
check
Apple
that
Plus,
one out.
I haven't watched the one where everybody's blind, but or something.
Oh yeah. I don't know what that was called.
Yeah.
Who else was in the Apple TV? I'm going to look it up. The Banker. It was good though. I can't remember what it was about, but I remember enjoying it.
I want to say Sam Jackson, but I think it's also because I watched Django yesterday. So.
No, that is Sam Jackson.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't want to say it in case no, Sam Jackson and Anthony Mackie. It was really good. Again, I can't remember what it was about, but it was good.
Yeah, okay.
Enjoyed that one.
All right.
Did you see Eurovision Song Contest?
I started it.
Saga?
I started it, and I didn't dislike it, but it just disappeared from my...
Yeah.
I think I paused it to look at a different thing and then
didn't get back to it.
But I heard it was... I didn't get up to... what's the guy's name from Downton Abbey in it?
Oh, yeah.
He does like... It's got the George Michael...
Yeah.
I heard he's really good in it as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
He's really funny.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I thought it was... It's a typical Will Ferrell movie. You know exactly what you're getting into when you get into Will Ferrell. I thought it was enjoyable. There's a couple of bits in it where it's like really, really funny.
I heard if you love Eurovision, it's kind of got a lot of that kind of vibe that people found quite fun and funny. I heard, maybe.
Don't know. I don't think I've ever watched Eurovision.
I've watched some and I did not like it. But whatever fills your bits.
That's all right.
What do we got here? Palm Springs was great.
Did you watch that? I loved it.
I loved that. I thought it was really, really good. And now it's on Prime, maybe?
Prime, I think, That's how I watched it. Really good. A couple of weeks ago, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think I've spoken about it on the show. But loved it. I thought it was so good.
Yeah. It was funny and just quite... I mean, also like a premise that we've seen, obviously, because it's Groundhog Day-esque and whatever, but it did enough different things. I wonder if we're ever going to get a movie like that where one of the characters turns around and just goes, this is like Groundhog Day. Yeah. Like all these movies exist in a universe where Groundhog Day doesn't exist.
I went into it not knowing the premise.
Oh, I wish I was like that. Yeah, was like, right.
What the hell is this? I had no idea what it was. I thought it was just like a coming-of-age drama, comedy sort of thing. I've never been a huge Andy Samberg fan. I've liked some of his stuff.
Yeah,
but
right.
I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Really good.
Even just that weird twist was like, oh, wow.
And Kristen Milotti,
Milotti,
who's really great. I think she's terrific. Artemis Fowl. I didn't. You've got next to this some of these D+, and I'm like, oh, these scores? Oh, no, that's Disney+. But Artemis Fowl sounds like a D+ to me.
It was awful.
What a missed opportunity, though, as well.
I know.
It sounds like they did butcher that, though. Like, it was one thing and then they made it a different thing, maybe?
Yeah, I think what I understand, I've never read the books. There's a series of books, and I understand they took the first three and like smushed them into one.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And they like got rid of a lot of characters.
And he's not as evil and whatever.
It was awful.
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing but terrible things.
It's terrible.
Yeah. And I like Kenneth Branagh as well. I think he's good.
Yeah.
And I know he's not all hasn't done all hits, but like even the first Thor, which is kind of quaint now when you look at other Marvel movies, I think it's pretty solid.
Good. Yeah. I feel like maybe it was a studio, one of those studio things where the studio takes it and... Just get rid of it. Actually, I do vaguely remember, actually, there was something about... Someone said that the movie that went out did not resemble the original cut, did not resemble the script. So I think it's one of those like trial by studio sort of things in the end, and just
hatchet jobs.
Yeah.
What do we got? One and Only Ivan.
Yeah,
that was good.
That was good.
I watched that with my son, and again, not life changing, but pretty
enjoyable,
good.
nice,
pretty good. You know,
nice.
It's got some CGI animals.
Yeah.
I brought up this keyboard. How do I get rid of this?
I have no
Such
idea.
an old man. I'm like, what's happening? Hang on, there we go. No, that's all right.
There you go.
I understand technology.
Yeah.
Clouds you loved, yeah?
I really
you guys
loved
both
it.
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah. Really, really good.
And it's based off a true story of the
True
real guy.
story,
and all
the
that.
real guy that had cancer, sort of like his last sort of it spans a few years, but I think the core of it spans his last like days.
Yeah.
And sort of how he became like a viral. I'd never heard of the guy before, but he became like a viral did a song that blew up on YouTube. Really good movie. Just really.
And you spoke to the director as well about
spoke to the director.
getting this guy's story out there and all this kind of.
It was wonderful.
I should watch that. I will watch that.
It's very good.
Yeah.
And Safety is the latest one that's gone up on Disney Plus.
What is that?
It's a sports. It's like a you know, any of the Disney sports films like Remember the Titans or similar to that. It's about a true story thing. It's a college ball player who rough family life. Has a younger brother, and I think his mother was like addicted to drugs. She went into like rehab, and no one was there to look after the brother. So he's off playing college ball, and he takes the younger brother under his wing and hides him on campus.
Oh, okay,
So
right.
he's looking after the brother while off playing sport. Then eventually, the campus does find out, and it's really about how he tries to challenge the system.
Yeah, okay,
to allow him to look after his brother and not have to choose between ball, playing ball and looking after his brother.
Yeah, right.
Really
okay.
cool. Just really nice.
So good.
Really good.
Really
good.
Did you get a preview?
Yeah,
of that?
I got a screener of
cool.
that.
So, but it's out now.
It's out last week. I think it went up last week.
Man, I'm slipping, mate.
Yeah, that's all right. But look, there is a lot of stuff out like constantly, almost. And like I said, some of these things you get a week's notice.
Yes.
And like, oh shit, it's up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that.
It's also kind of exciting because it's like, oh, that's next week. And then it's also like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's really
well, I found myself with this Disney Plus thing. Again, we'll talk more in depth later. But I found with a lot of that stuff, I was like, I have to wait to 2023 or 2022.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You know, I've got to wait 2 years. It's this point now. We're so used to coming to Netflix next week.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Love that. Yeah.
I love the lead up. I love like the hype and everything going into a movie. Oh, a year away, can't wait. Thor, Love and Thunder, like I'm dying to see that. But then it almost like just something that drops out, like, oh, it's coming out next week, is almost, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
you don't have to be like thinking about it for 2 years.
That's right, exactly. Yeah,
it's a very weird sort of.
Yeah, with the bigger stuff like your Thors or whatever, you can't really do that. You can't be like Mandalorian's next week.
No,
but I understand that. Yeah.
So. That's a lot of stuff. That's
still a decent year, I think, of all things
I think so. Like, considering that we didn't get... And I think almost like maybe it's a bit of a nice to have a breather from that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Specifically when you see how much stuff Marvel, Star Wars even has coming out over the next, 3 years.
I think it might end up doing them a favour.
Oh, exactly right.
Because I know a lot of people are like, I'm sick of Marvel movies. I've had enough. But maybe that'll change.
Yeah. Maybe it's worked in the favour of the MCU where we've... finished off, we've had Endgame, and then, of course, Spider-Man Far From Home was almost like a coda on the end of that. And then a year break before we go into the next phase. I think it might actually work out quite well.
That's it. Yeah. Fun stuff.
It's fun stuff. One big superhero movie we've got this year.
Yeah.
We've had 2 superhero movies, Birds of Prey at the beginning of the year.
Bloodshot is technically.
Technically Bloodshot as well. But nothing quite to the scale as Wonder Woman 1984, which, as we said, I saw... 2 weeks ago now. You saw it just this morning. Something fresh on your brain.
That's it. Yeah, it was. I quite liked it. I think it felt for me, like an intentional homage to the Cris era of Superman movies, just in terms of the earnestness and honestness. And I guess also because it's set in the 80s, though the first 2 movies were filmed in the 70s. But it felt to me very much like that kind of vibe, and just like a good, honest, pretty straightforward superhero. Romp where everybody learns a lesson and you know what I mean?
Yeah, none of this just because some of the plot lines can just get really just bogged down with so much stuff.
Yeah, totally.
I thought the same too. It's just real stripped back.
It's not mean. You know, there's a sinister. Not everything has to be nice, but some movies have a sinister kind of edge.
Yeah.
Like this is supposed to be for kids. Sometimes, and I think it's one of those things that it will resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, it's got a really nice message. And the one thing I thought, again, I won't spoil too much because it's not rolling. It's only just starting to roll around the world, but it won't be here until Christmas. But I felt there's this message in there about, love and hope and togetherness and whatever. I feel like it's a more timely message now than had it released June or whenever it was supposed to release earlier in the year.
A lot of as they often do in superhero movies, like the world descends into chaos. In this case due to things I won't get into. But there's a lot of this is not, it's not dissimilar. And, you need unity to bring everything back together, which is maybe not entirely reflective of the current state of things. But totally. I think it's like the optimal time to bring it out. I don't know whether it'll make them its money back.
Oh, yeah.
It would have in cinemas, definitely. For sure. Yeah.
It would have been huge. Would have been huge.
Yeah, but...
What did the first one make? I don't know.
About 750, I think. I looked that up the other day. Yeah. But it did better than most of the DC movies, I think.
It would have done $1 billion, I reckon, this one for
Probably,
sure.
I would say so,
If not just pushing it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I think there'll also be people that won't like, and I can see there's also a lot of things in there that aren't strict to the lore of Wonder Woman. They change some things, like the Jet and some villains and bits and pieces that, I mean, often, unless it's a really egregious change or kind of works against the story, it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. Yeah,
I thought there was a lot of, like you say, Christopher Reeve era Superman stuff. Even like the Linda Carter Wonder Woman
definitely,
show.
Yeah,
like even that first, I think one of the first scenes in the film where it kind of opens up onto the street. There's someone jogging. A very 1980s, and it just felt like that classic show. Yeah. And I don't know, it kind of feels like we haven't had a superhero thing like this for a long time.
Yeah.
It is big and overblown, but it does have a really kind of intimate core to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree with that. Yeah. It's probably a bit long. I think we shared a similar opinion on that because it is 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. It felt like this could be a show.
Yeah.
This could have been 3 episodes of a show. But it's good, and it's not. I wouldn't even say it's not even that action heavy. I would say also there's a lot of people talking and and just walking around and stuff.
Well, I'd read a thing with Patty Jenkins yesterday. Someone had spoken to her about because it's 2.5 hours long, and she says actually it's a tighter film than she'd wanted it to be.
Really?
She had to cut 15 minutes or 20 minutes out of it.
Okay.
The studio said no, you got to tighten it up.
Yeah, right.
And she was like, there's so much stuff that I didn't want to get rid of.
Yeah. She also said that she didn't want to do a director's cut either. Is that right? She didn't want to do an extended cut.
That.
I might have seen that the other day. I might be wrong. But yeah.
But they tend to do that with these DC things.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether or not anybody involved with it wants it. But
exactly right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I thought it was really good. And I think you've been the same as me. It's almost like the whole DCEU thing has been very divisive
on the bag
between the films. Yeah. I really loved it. And I love Birds of Prey. These are the 2 DC movies that I would put at the top of my list anyway, from the DCEU anyway.
Yeah.
It gets me excited for the future of the DCEU films, I think.
I think, look, I'm not a huge fan of the Zack Snyder stuff. There's elements of that I do like. I quite like most of Man of Steel, I would say, probably 80%, and the other ones I'm a bit mixed on. Well, Justice League isn't even his anyway, I guess. We'll see that in March, apparently. They're releasing it. But
interesting.
But yeah, I think there was a bit of an identity struggle with DC, and now that they are doing you can do a Joker, and you can do a Wonder Woman, and then you're a Batman in a different universe, which they're working on. I think it's like they do with comics. There's 8 different Batmans at all times in different multiverses, and they don't need to cross, or sometimes they do. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When I spoke to Patty Jenkins about the film, and she said that was almost like the one thing they wanted to go in. They want to do a sequel, a film that feels so organic as a sequel to the first one, which it really does.
Yeah.
But distances itself from all the other stuff. And what she mentioned was that when they were doing that first movie, they really had to stick with that vision that they were working with at the time, which was the Zack Snyder stuff, really, because he wrote the story for the first Wonder Woman, could tie into everything.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And they were even Patty Jenkins was saying that with this one it was so much more free. They had so much more freedom to be able to go and do a completely different film that is sort of grounded in that same reality.
It also doesn't contradict anything.
No.
If you're a real well, this couldn't be that because this person has to know this person. It doesn't even if that Justice League movie, which I don't think she's seen, or she doesn't like the new one.
She said
She's like, I don't have anything to do with it. I don't know. I don't like it. But it doesn't even contradict that, really. Like, there's nothing that it really... No. I mean, I'm sure there is. I'm sure...
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be someone out there who says something.
Yeah.
But, I found the same. It felt like completely like... It's almost like a reset, but it does tie in so well.
Yeah. And Chris Pine and Gal Gadot, they work really well together.
Yeah.
And, like, say what you will of Snyder, and if you like or hate his films, he's, for the most part, I think he's been on the money with a lot of his casting. Yeah. And she's rich because he cast her, and I think she's great. I know people have also said like she's wooden, and like I didn't find that at all. I found
really
she's pretty
good
earnest and just it's Wonder Woman. To me, it looks like it's Wonder Woman.
I think it's one of those things where you're restricted by the material that you've got, and the Snyder stuff was so dark and so bleak. I'm like, she can't come in here with like a big smile on her face. Same thing with Captain Marvel. Brie Larson copped the wooden face sort of thing.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
This is a character that doesn't have anything to be smiling about.
Yeah, that's it.
Sort of thing. But I love the new one.
I don't know whether. I mean, she's obviously doing Star Wars now, so I don't know whether. Will she do the next one?
Don't know.
Like, I don't know if she can. If she does, they'd have to wait for her. But it seems like she might not end up directing it. I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll see.
We will see.
We will see. You'll see. We'll all see.
It's nice to be at a point where I'm excited for DC stuff again.
Absolutely,
which is very nice.
It's one of those things where, of course, you want them to succeed.
Yeah, exactly right.
Good movies. I don't want this all to fall down. Yeah. I don't want everything to be like a Marvel movie or whatever either. You know what I mean?
I want to be a bit different. Go and enjoy
good stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I grew up with the DC like Batman and Superman. As much as I love Marvel and whatever, Batman and Superman are at the top for me. And they like growing up. They're the only superhero movies you had. Batman
that's right.
and Superman, really, until this big comic book movie explosion thing.
That's right.
So I love these characters. I just really want to see them in movies that are great.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this new Batman movie whenever that's coming out.
Yeah, next 22,
I think it's 22 now, yeah.
Okay, that's a shame.
They released that trailer which had 2021 question mark. And then like 2 weeks later, it was like, no, 2022.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, that was a film that got shut down because of COVID a couple of times.
Yes.
It's another film that got shut down because of COVID.
Yep.
They've had a few shutdowns on this particular film because of the pandemic and everything. They've had delay shoots.
Yes.
I think they delayed. There was like 2 what they called hiatuses. And they sort of just took breaks in between filming. They had a shutdown because 12 people tested positive for COVID.
Yep.
And it looks like it's hit boiling point on the set.
Big time. They're all living on a boat, maybe?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. He bought out the whole boat, didn't he? That's right, yeah. We are, of course, talking about Mission Impossible 7.
Yes.
7.
It's probably 7.
I think it's 7.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
You've got Mission Impossible 6 here, I think.
Yeah.
But it is 7,
I'm questioning it? 7, yeah. I think it's 7. They're doing 7 and 8 back to back.
I'll Google it. Yeah, but yeah.
But Tom Cruise... We love a good Tom Cruise story on the
podcast.
Love it.
Yeah.
He's gone nuts. Let's have a listen. I've got the audio right here.
I'm on the phone with every studio at night. Insurance companies. Producers. And they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. We are creating thousands of jobs, you I don't ever want to see it again. Ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired. And I see you do it again, you're gone. And anyone on this crew does it. You can tell it to the people that are losing their homes because our industry is shut down. It's not going to put food on their table or pay for their college education. That's what I sleep with every night. In the future of this industry. We are not shutting this movie down!
I mean, look, he's right.
Yep.
And I'm in 2 minds about it.
Yep.
What do you think, first of all? Yeah.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
He's very intense.
Yes.
You know what he's like from his movies, and this is very much a Tom Cruise performance.
Yeah, he yells like he acts.
Yeah.
It's like the same.
Like I said, this is a production that's been up and down. They've shut down because of COVID before.
Yeah.
They've gone on hiatuses because of everything that's going on. The crew knows the deal. It's been nearly a year.
Yeah.
You know, this whole pandemic. I can again. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. These could be a couple of guys who've just been on the job day one, and he's snapped at them. But then wonder.
It could be every day.
Yeah,
like it's like
they've been
something
here
every day
for 12 months, and it just boils and boils and boils, and finally snaps. Apparently, what these people were doing,
close to a monitor.
They were like huddled over a monitor, like really close together.
Yeah, right.
And he just like lost
Masks down, or
don't know. Maybe they did. My first thought was, maybe these people didn't have masks on.
Yeah.
You just don't know the behind the scenes. Okay, so in one mind, I'm like, he's right.
Yeah.
But then
because it's jobs,
exactly
it's
right.
Like, it's money it's his own money on the line
because he's producing it.
People, like you said, are losing jobs like the world over, and no, not just this industry, but obviously they've obviously been hard hit. But at the same time, and I'll probably get some flack for this, but I feel like there's a way to handle yourself and something like this. Like as someone who was a teacher, the best you get out of people is not when you blast them. Don't get me wrong, I've done that. And I've also been like, I shouldn't have done that. Like that was, I've lost my cool. Yeah. But also it's also like that lesson of like, you gotta listen. So it's kind of, I'm not one about, that's not my parenting style to scream at somebody. Yeah. But also some people are fucking idiots. So it's like, I don't know. Like, again, we don't have all the information. Maybe it was every day and he's being nice every day and then it just tipped over. Or maybe he just, he snapped. But again, he's not wrong.
No, exactly right. Yeah. And again, as you said, his money's in it. He's a producer on it. At the end of the day, if something does go tits up on the set and like a massive breakout, they have to shut down again, he's liable for all these people that are now sick, lawsuits, all this kind of shit that you don't even think about. So you can just imagine he's just every day at set. It's got to be he's doing these crazy stunts where he's hanging out of fucking helicopters and shit. Even if you take COVID out of the situation, these has to be a pretty highly strung set to begin with.
And he's doing a lot of like the nitty gritty stuff. And like, as he said, he's like calling producers at night and trying to keep everything on track. And, he's not, he is a creative driving force behind these movies and most of the movies he does. Yeah, like I understand. Like, there's a lot of things about him that I do not like. Which we don't have to get into. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he could have handled it differently. But again, we weren't. You
don't know.
Maybe he tried. Maybe he did.
Who knows? Yeah. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just snapped.
Maybe he snapped.
You can't form an opinion. You can only say, okay, I think it was the right thing to tell him to take it a bit more seriously or whatever, but then you just don't. George Clooney came out and
I did see this just before. I
didn't write any. There was a quote, but he supported him. He's like, he's done the right thing. But I think even he was a bit like, oh, we don't know the full story, or
and maybe he shouldn't have yelled and whatever. But
right. So I don't know.
I'm interested to see what people think, like genuinely.
Yeah,
like,
well, I've seen a bit of discourse. I've seen a lot of people going, what a hero, and then there's a lot of people like, why are you championing this toxic behavior? And
it's also different when you're the boss. Like the power dynamic is different. And you because no one can yell at him like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
Well, well, they'd be incinerated instantly. But so there is that power dynamic element of it. But of course, he's in that position because he's good at what he does and whatever. Like he's not there by accident.
Exactly right.
So again, I don't know. We'll find out by the time this goes out. Maybe they're like. It was fine. They had masks off and they were kissing everybody.
Well, apparently, I read this just this morning. 5 crew members walked off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a source told The Sun.
The Sun. Okay.
Not really The Sun. They told them the tension has been building for months and this was the final straw. And now, apparently, after this leaked, as you can imagine, it's going to be like, who the fuck leaked this shit? Yep. I'm imagining there's probably another meltdown from someone on the set. And then 5 crew members have apparently they've quit. Apparently,
it wouldn't surprise me. Also, I've heard some people say like, did he leak it or did the production leak it just to be like as a warning or as a like, this is how we're doing things, and
you just never know.
Never know anything.
Another big production that is in production at the moment, Spider-Man 3, the second one, Spider-Man 3 2.
Yeah, they didn't get to Spider-Man 3 in the last set of Spider-Man movies.
So now we've got Spider-Man 3 coming in for the MCU. We don't have a title for it yet. I can't remember. Has this one been shut down? I don't think there was a...
I don't think so.
I think it kind of started and then stopped and then started again, but that was because of everything's a bit uncertain.
It's still on track for December of next year, whenever, I believe.
thankfully. There's some crazy stuff going on with this as well. I spoke about this last week, but I'm curious to hear what you think about this. Let's run over just a bunch of the people who are confirmed from it already. Tom Holland, of course.
Yep.
He's there as Spider-Man.
He's going to do it.
Yep. Benedict Cumberbatch. He's going to be in there as Doctor Strange.
Makes sense.
Jamie Foxx returns from the Amazing Spider-Man films as Electro.
Everyone's favourite,
Yeah. We've got Alfred Molina. This was just announced last week.
Yeah.
Doc Ock from the first trilogy of Spider-Man films.
I mean, he died when he drowned that son. But whatever, I guess.
Didn't Electro die as well? Or he blew up and went somewhere?
Yeah, maybe he did.
He
He may have.
Yeah.
He may have.
We've got Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, of course, the two previous Spider-Men. Kirsten Dunst and Emma Stone, the two previous love interests.
Yep.
They're all in final discussions, apparently.
I would say, if this is true, that's a lock. It would have to be. Like, if
be.
they're filming
If
it,
they got,
it's definitely, like, it's done. It was probably done
ages ago.
6 months ago.
Well, there's a picture came out last week of Tobey Maguire looking all sheepish, walking into a
he looked pretty trim
costume
too.
fitting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie Cox, this is a weird one. Charlie Cox, they're saying, is rumoured to be in there as Daredevil.
I would love this to be true. It would also make sense if Tom Holland, Spider-Man, is on the run or whatever and he needs a lawyer. It would make total sense. I'm up and down on those Netflix shows, but
same.
I think...
I stopped watching.
Yeah, me too. But I think it's all good, like in terms of casting, and he's great as Daredevil. Yeah. It's either him or Affleck, so who do you do?
Oh, exactly right. I enjoyed the ones I watched. I think I watched the first two of Daredevil.
Yep.
The first of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, and then watched The Defenders, which I didn't really like. It was it was one of those ones. It's like, got pushed to get to the end.
This should be better, right?
Yeah. It's just like such a fizzle. It's like, I can't wait. It's like the MCU of the Netflix. And it was just like, I struggled to get through. I think I stopped watching and then I had to pick it. I was like, I have to watch the last two.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched whatever came after that, season 3 and 2 and what of the other shows. But the casting is spot on.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's terrific.
Yeah.
Kristen Ritter as Jessica
great.
Jones,
Really
fantastic.
good. Yeah.
Mike, what's his name? Mike that plays Luke Cage. Coulter?
Yes,
Mike
that's
Coulter.
right. Yep,
He's amazing.
Yep.
And, of course, Daredevil too, like Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
You kind of, in one mind, you're kind of like, well, it's disconnected from the MCU, but if you're going to bring the characters in, you want this cast.
Definitely.
You don't want them to, like, refresh again.
I think it's also like... that stuff may or may not have happened. It didn't affect any of the mainline Marvel stuff, so I think it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, if we're doing this whole, like, multiverse thing, it's got such an easy in to pull all these characters in, and this was an alternate timeline. Just drop them through the portal.
People get it at this point as well.
Yeah.
I think if you do like a straightforward origin story, because I think even if you look at like Captain Marvel, which I think is fine, it's fine, but whatever, but. Yeah, people are like, this feels a bit quaint.
Yeah.
So I think like this, people are used to this now. They've built up to like, we don't need another origin. Let's just fold dimensions into each other. It might be a bit much though.
I think so. Yeah. Well, because this week we've got rumours of Willem Dafoe coming in as the Green Goblin.
Yep.
And Thomas Hayden Church as the Sandman, both from the original trilogy. Is it just too much?
It might be. I know a lot of these are probably cameos and whatever, but I mean, it depends. I'm sure, like, if you love certain characters and they get 4 seconds of screen time, then, you'd probably be upset. It's all about balance. I guess it's like with Endgame. For Endgame, for me, it didn't feel like there were, like, people didn't get a certain amount of screen time. It felt relatively balanced, but I know people are going to want to see a lot of Tobey Maguire.
Oh, for sure.
And even Andrew Garfield, because I think, they're not great movies, but he's good, Maybe. Sony have a weird track record, but, excuse me, sorry. Lollies.
Right.
But this is but it's also had like Marvel are running this.
That's the thing. But it's almost like I felt the original Spider-Man 3 failed because they shoved too many characters in to begin with, like 3 or 4 villains or whatever it was, and then they kind of went that way with the Amazing Spider-Man films too. As you've got more and more overblown as it went, and you're kind of going, you're doing it again, and on an even grander scale.
A good point. Yeah, I don't know. I think things have evolved since then.
Yeah.
Maybe they won't pull it off, but I feel like there's enough good faith there where they probably know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, like you said, Endgame, and you've got, like, it's even like, you look at Endgame, and you have, like Tony Stark has, like, 15-minute screen time or something once it's broken down.
Yeah, right,
But it works. You almost feel like you've watched him throughout the whole film.
Yeah, I didn't realise that. I didn't even know that,
That might not be correct, but I know that I think it might even be like Thor has, like, 8 minutes or something, but By the time you're out of the film, you feel like you've seen them, and
you're like, oh yeah, Thor, Fat Thor, or whatever, and then you remember, that's true, that's interesting,
and even like Infinity War, Black Panther's not in it long at all. He's got like 2 scenes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and it's just like so I feel like they've got that.
I guess they have the luxury of that of doing like 2 movies. So characters like Doctor Strange, you get a lot of play in the first one.
Yeah,
they don't really in the second one. Oh, I think I disconnected something.
I don't know. No, you're in there.
Okay, good.
You're plugged in. You're right.
Good, okay. Something just moved. Okay, yeah.
All good.
Right.
For those not watching, James has thought he's just unplugged.
That's right.
People listening on the audio.
I got fed up and I just started pulling cables out.
And it's all good.
It's all right.
We're all good. There was one rumor I heard was that if they're getting Toby and Andrew back, there's a chance they've been signed onto a multi-film contract.
Okay, yeah.
Which would mean there's a possibility that they appear in Multiverse of Madness before it goes into Spider-Man.
And that would make sense as well because Sam Raimi is directing that.
That's the big part of that as well,
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no, I definitely believe that.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they'd going Spider-Man Dimensions first and then Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I guess, because I think, was it initially the other way?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It might have been. Yeah. I don't know. I might be wrong on that.
No, I think, no, because Doctor Strange should have been out by now.
Oh, okay,
I think. Or should have not. No, sorry. So at early next year it was supposed to be out. Because WandaVision was always supposed to be December.
Yeah.
And then Multiverse of Madness was supposed to spin like directly out of that in like February.
That's the rumours, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or speculation that WandaVision is going to kick off the multiverse.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah.
It's going to be interesting. What are your thoughts on the whole multiverse thing?
I'm all for it, man.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think at this point, just keep up. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
Yeah. I think they do a pretty good job of, like, explaining it to people what is going on. And I think you can go into a lot of these movies not knowing other things. And, like, you know, you have a relatively okay idea of what's going on. Yeah, I'm fine with it. If they can do it, then, it's like, because comics are crazy as well.
Yeah, exactly right.
And that being said, like, there's been varying degrees of success involving in different universes and different runs. But it's hard to do, but it can be done. Yeah.
Especially there's like so much content now. It's almost like a lot of people are not going to watch everything. There's a lot of people that don't watch anything to begin with.
Yeah,
but
that's
now,
right. Yeah,
with all these shows and movies and stuff.
Totally.
I don't know if you heard about, you probably did, but they just announced like 2 or 3 days ago they're doing another show for Disney Plus called MCU Legends.
I did see that, yeah. So it's like recap.
It's like a recap,
thing.
yeah. So they're doing it character by character. So obviously they'll probably do... well, the first two they're doing Vision and Wanda. So it's going to be like a recut of like their greatest hits from the previous films. And you imagine you get a Black Widow one before Black Widow. Yeah. I think it's a pretty good way to, especially for the casual fans who aren't watching everything. Yeah. Or even, like, we're only 12 years into this franchise, but there's 22 or 23 movies already.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get like so many, like however many more is on the slate. I think it's a really good way to just kind of give the more casual people a good way to track the story, and it gives people like us who've watched them all the chance to just watch like what going into the next big movie. All you need is like the little recap instead of going, fuck, I have to watch like 6 movies all over again.
Totally, yeah. Because I'm sure you're the same, but I don't rewatch stuff to go in. I'm just like, I got a rough idea. Yeah. I remember this.
I think I did it with Endgame, maybe. I did with Endgame. I was like, screw it, I'm going to do it all. No, it was I did with Age of Ultron. At that point, there was only like 11 or 12 movies or whatever. And then I think I might have done it again for Infinity War.
Okay.
I didn't do it again with
We
Endgame.
would need to. It's a year in between.
Yeah, exactly right.
Not that difficult to keep up. Yeah.
So,
it's also like it's more content filler for Disney as well. Like, here's another thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy enough
Which is, I feel like Disney Plus has been a little lacking.
I think so,
on the like original content anyway.
Or even it's like stuff that I want to watch. Because I know there's a lot of stuff that like that does go up there that I'm not super interested in, but it's fine. Well, it seems to like they're moving things along. Yeah. As I'm sure we will talk about.
Yeah, right now.
Wow.
Wow, how good's that?
King of segues.
Yeah. Disney Investor Day. Now, I did talk about this last week, but I'm really keen to hear your thoughts on this as well. There's so much stuff that they've just announced. And spinning out on the Marvel stuff, this is the stuff that they either announced this week or has been announced previously. Disney Plus series for Marvel. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Secret Invasion, Ironheart, Guardians of the Galaxy Hollywood Special, I Am Groot, which is like a little series of short films, and What If, which is the animated thing. And then beyond the 2021 movies that we're getting next year, which is Spider-Man and whatever, Black Widow and Eternals. Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel 2, Blade, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Like the name.
It's a great name. It's beautiful. Thor, Love and Thunder, Guardians 3, Black Panther 2, Fantastic Four. Over on the Lucasfilm side, you've got 10 TV series.
Yeah.
Rangers of the New Republic, Ahsoka, Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which we knew about, Lando, The Acolyte. They got 2 movies which are coming out, one by Taika Waititi and one with by Patty Jenkins, Rogue Squadron.
There's also like a droids show or something.
Yeah, there's like I think it's an animated thing.
Did they announce all the shows? Like they said 10, but they actually say 10.
Yeah, they did. It was because I think a lot of them were animated. There's one called The Bad Batch.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which spins out of the Clone Wars.
I think also there's rumors. I think a lot of people who know about Star Wars stuff, like Steel Wars, for example, people might know. They reckon there's a Boba Fett thing that's filming like right now. Which they can do with the volume. They can film that whenever,
They're building one here in Melbourne. Is
it Melbourne?
Actually, I'm not sure if it's Melbourne, but there's one in Australia.
Yeah, I know. I did hear they were building one,
Because they're building...
I know they're doing one in the UK, or they might already
there's one in London, and they... because what were they...
Sorry, I should be more professional.
Wrecking everything.
I could edit this stuff out of my podcast, or colleagues can.
Oh, leave it in. They're filming something in London... Maybe it is Spider-Man or, I don't know. The Cassian Andor show.
Yes, they are. They've started that, haven't
and
they?
I reckon they must be doing, the volume's obviously already been built there.
Yeah, totally.
But they're doing one here in Australia. I don't know if I know there's more studios being built.
I know Taika Waititi was talking about doing it for Thor.
Yeah.
Thor, so it might be using it for that. Maybe it's in Queensland.
Queensland, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
Let us know, Taika. Write in.
Yeah.
We know you're
if
watching.
If you're there listening or watching, but look at so much content, man.
Yeah.
Majority of this, other than the movies that I mentioned, of course, are all going to Disney Plus as exclusives.
Oh yeah.
We talk about a lot. You hear it a lot in people and talking about movies and stuff. Is we're getting overloaded, we're burning out. This is the first time where I was watching I don't know if you watched the investor panel.
I did. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
It's the first time where I'm feeling this is a lot to take in, and it's not only overwhelming to have all these announcements, but it's overwhelming to think about the content I'm going to have to make.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming just thinking about having to consume all this stuff.
Totally. I think a lot of this stuff, though, for a lot of people, and I think it will be for me also, some of it will become like the B stuff that you don't need to worry about. Like when I dropped off the Marvel Netflix stuff, like with like the Arrowverse, where I'm like, there's 50 shows here. And I can't. I mean, that being said, like just looking at this, most of this stuff I do want to watch.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And I guess it's also like, I was going to say, it's not going to drop all at once, is it? Because it's going to be like, there'll be a Star Wars show, then there'll be 10, and then that'll finish, and then there'll be a Marvel show, and that'll be
Which
8
is essentially what they're doing with, because we're filming this on Friday night.
Yeah.
And so the last episode of Mandalorian's today.
How was it? I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope you did enjoy it. If we don't
I
quite know
I
yet.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope I did too. The finale.
People were a bit upset because it was revealed that Peyton Reed was doing the episode.
Oh, yeah,
and he
that's
did the
right.
Spider Cave one, which is like considered the not great one.
People didn't like it.
I quite like that
I thought
episode.
it was good.
I still again, it doesn't like directly impact the plot. There's a lot of side quests, but it's fun.
It's good.
Even the bad Mandalorian's like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
It's a fun show to watch. I feel like, again, going off topic, I feel like it's almost, the production value of it is so good. It's like watching a movie and you get to 35 minutes and it ends. And you're like, oh shit. I want more. I want more now.
I find myself also like looking for the seams of like the volume.
Yeah,
I'm
me
like,
too.
that's a volume
now
shot.
That we know.
No, that's a set, that one. No, that lava's not real or whatever. Like I'm just doing that the whole time, which is probably because I didn't do that at all in the first season because I didn't know.
Because they hadn't revealed any of that, and I reckon that's exactly
why. And now I'm just looking for it like the whole time, which is probably not doing it any favors. We're doing a recap on Monday for the weekly. Well, and this goes out as well if people want.
Yeah, same day. So it'll be out there right now, maybe.
That's right, maybe.
Or within a couple of hours if you're listening to this straight away.
Maybe I've died. Maybe I'm dead. Maybe I didn't do it.
Hope not.
Me too. I don't want that.
This could be the last piece of content you've ever made.
Well, what a way to go out, though.
Well,
I mean,
exactly
end on a high. The sugar's going to kill me.
Oh, yeah. You're hooking into them.
I
might have one of them. They're quite good, actually.
They're good.
What was I saying? Yeah, so Mandalorian ends tonight, and then we go almost straight into WandaVision on January
15th.
Yeah.
So I might be doing some stuff for that, which I I hate it when people are like, I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you after, but I literally cannot talk about it. Also, it might be nothing. So
Very exciting.
forget that. Just edit this out.
Okay.
You don't really have to.
I will ask you after this. That's exciting. So yeah, I feel like a lot of this stuff will get that staggered.
Yeah.
It'll almost be like, I feel it's going to have to be like an endless, because this stuff only takes us up to 2023. This is 2 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
And then you look like a lot of this stuff will get sequel series, and then they'll announce new stuff. The stuff like the Obi-Wan series, which is probably the thing I'm most excited for.
Yeah, me too.
That'll probably get one. Then again, maybe not.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You just don't know. But I feel like it'll all be like this thing ends and then maybe even the next week, the next thing starts.
It'll be like the way with Netflix. It's like, it's just, I mean, maybe you don't watch it all, but it's just every week there's at least something that, you'd want to watch.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It is interesting.
I'm looking forward to it.
But it is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really bad idea to have one of those mints.
Yeah.
Kind of just stick you. I can hear it.
I've been avoiding them strategically. I've been going for the more gummy stuff.
It's like one of the first ones I went in for.
They're good though.
They're so good.
Yeah.
But sounds like I'm chewing like gum. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'm excited for. I think I'll probably try and watch it all.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I'll definitely watch it all. Like, I think maybe the droid's animated, and I might.
Yeah, that's the kind of
I'll
stuff.
I'll probably catch up on the Bad Batch after it's done if I hear it's pretty good and whatever. But
the same.
Yeah.
So, what are we looking forward to the next year? We spoke about 2020.
We did.
I've still got this mint stuck there.
Do you want another one? Maybe
No, thank you.
Could knock it loose.
Might knock it out. Yeah. 2021. We've got a lot of stuff coming out again. We're talking about content overload.
Because we've got last year's stuff, this year's stuff,
and next year's stuff. Because a lot of stuff that hasn't been pushed back, they've kept it there.
I think a lot of stuff will. I think a lot of this is going to move, though. It'll have to.
Oh, but it has to.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a lot of stuff going to HBO Max as well.
Yeah.
It kind of almost feels like that might loosen, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No, you're right. I see what you're saying. It's good. Yeah, it shifts the landscape, like the cinema. And also, you probably saw the news that cinemas are thinking of charging less for tickets.
Slashing the Warner Brothers tickets,
a big FU to all that, which is... they did not handle that well.
No,
initially, it was like, oh, great, good, more stuff. But then it turns out that
once you heard about everything, all the drama.
You didn't think ahead. You didn't think about where the directors might be. And, maybe Christopher Nolan doesn't want to come back and do another movie with you guys because of off the back of this.
The ramifications are going to be huge. Everyone's not happy. Well, particularly because they paid Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins like 10 million each to put Wonder Woman on HBO Max, and then everyone else didn't get anything.
Yeah, nothing. I think it's one of those things of like ask for forgiveness, not permission. Do you know what I mean? They're like, we'll just do this and then we'll sort it all out. They probably will. They probably will.
I'm sure.
But yeah, it's a
weird situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have a lot of great stuff, and the big movies next year: Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man 3. This is the Marvel stuff, obviously. You got WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Spider-Man 3, Venom 2, Morbius, if you're looking at the Sony side.
Sure.
And then you've got stuff like Suicide Squad, Top Gun 2, Bond, No Time to Die.
Yep.
Should have been out like 2 or 3 times by now. Godzilla.
They fully ramped up for that. It was coming out. What's his name? What's his name? Brosnan. Craig's doing Saturday Night Live, and it's just like it's all happening.
They launched a Bond podcast and everything.
That's right. I wonder if they're still doing that podcast every week.
I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. I didn't check in, but I feel because they.
I'll check. While you're
check
talking,
it out.
I'll check.
Because at the beginning of the year they put out the posters and the trailer, and it's coming, and then no, it's not coming until the end of the year, and then at the end of the year they ramped it up again, and then a week later, no, sorry, it's not coming out until next year now.
That's right. Exactly.
Godzilla v Kong, The Conjuring 3, Matrix 4.
Where are you at on those movies? I'm sure you've talked about them.
I haven't watched Godzilla v Kong yet. I watched, what's it called? Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And the first Godzilla.
Yeah.
Was there a Godzilla 2?
That was King of Monsters.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I haven't seen King of Monsters. I liked Kong. Visually very nice.
Yeah.
Story-wise...
I didn't mind it.
It's all right. It's fun.
There's so many James Bond podcasts. I'm like, which one's official? I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah.
Maybe it's gone. Maybe they axed it and deleted it.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mind Skull Island. I thought it was all right. Yeah, I liked it better than I liked King of Monsters, which I think people, if you love like monster battles and things like that, I know a lot of people
I've heard,
love that. But for me, I didn't enjoy it. It was fine. I didn't hate it, but I was like, eh.
I feel like Godzilla v Kong's probably going to be about the same, but you expect that going in.
Yeah, I'm not going in with like
no,
but yeah, of course I'll see that.
Yeah.
As if I'm not going to see that
exactly
one.
Right. Conjuring 3.
I've never seen a Conjuring.
Really?
Yeah,
You don't like horror
no,
films?
I don't like ghost stuff. I would say,
right.
but it's not something that grabs me. I did watch The Wolf of Snow Hollow the other day. I don't know if you've seen that. It's like an indie kind of horror movie, which I do like horror movies, but it's not like the thing I gravitate towards.
Yeah.
I like a really good horror, but they're good, aren't they?
They are fantastic.
I should watch them.
I don't watch a lot of horror, but they're fantastic. I've watched the first one 2 or 3 times. It's fantastic.
The spin-offs
really
are varied.
They're very
right?
varied. The first Annabelle was average. The second one was actually quite good.
Is that the David F. Sandberg did the second one? I might be wrong.
So.
He did one of them, didn't he?
I think there's 3 of them now. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't seen the third one. The Nun was it terrible?
I heard the Nun
trash.
wasn't good, yeah.
And there's some other ones. But yeah, the core ones are really good.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. Matrix 4.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Matrix.
Yeah.
I'm not going to not see the Matrix.
Yeah.
Who knows, though?
I don't know. It's one of those weird things where you leave so much time between. Like, even 2 and 3 weren't great.
No. They've got moments.
Yeah.
We recently rewatched them to do an episode. When I say recently, it could have been 100 years ago. I don't know. But having rewatched the sequels, I'm like, there's stuff here that I like, but that first one is just so
good.
It's just pitch perfect.
Yeah.
Like the movie.
Yeah.
Just everything about it works.
Yeah.
And the second ones are like, Mason's got like my co-host of the Weekly Planet, where he reckons they used all their great sketchbook ideas for the first one.
Yeah.
Like every good idea you've got. And then the second one's like, what else have we got? Like,
I think even that was really the beginning of the Hollywood thing where they go, let's shoot these 2 movies back to back, and they end up telling one story across 2 films.
Yes.
So once you look at them, even the Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3, really good as a narrative, but once you split that narrative in half and you assess them as an individual film, it doesn't work.
You might be right, yeah. Also, they released the Matrix movies, I don't know if you remember, in the same year.
That's
which is
right,
very unusual. It was like the year of the Matrix, and
Mm-hmm.
there was a trailer for the second movie for the third movie after the second. What I'm going to do? I'm going to go for it.
Oh, you're going to do it? You've got one of the mints. Oh, no. I guess stuck right there.
Which wasn't a good idea,
But
but
I told you.
I love him. What can I do?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the Matrix. Again, it's like,
Yeah.
what am I not going to see the Matrix? Even if I heard that like
to.
it's awful, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I'm still seeing
You
it. I
have
have
to
to
see
say
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's one of those movies, for sure. Dune.
Yeah, really interested.
Yeah.
Mostly because of the director. I don't know much about Dune, and I've been avoiding the books and the other movie and the TV series, and I think there's a comic happening at the moment because I just want to go into this because I love Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
I love Denis Villeneuve, or however you say his
However
name.
you
I know
say
you
it.
guys talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or a big disaster again.
Well, who knows? It's one I don't know nothing about Dune. I'll be the same. I'm going very fresh. I'll definitely see it. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like that's going to be something for me, but I hope it surprises me. It's one of those things.
Do you like his other movies?
What else has he done? I don't know if I've ever
Blade
seen,
Runner 2049.
See, I haven't seen
he
that
did,
yet. I feel like I've seen something he did.
He did Prisoners.
Yes, that was very
Did
good.
the Sicario. Maybe
Yeah,
the first one.
the first one of them. Very good.
Yeah, he does. He did Arrival. Did he do Arrival?
Oh, he might have. Check it out.
Might not have done
Go and check
Arrival.
it out.
Let me check. I know this is probably hooked up to the internet, but I don't want to change. I don't want to change the screen.
you'll
'Cause I'll
lose
never get
it.
it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, if that's the case, I think I will enjoy it.
yeah. Yeah, he did do Arrival.
yeah.
Sicario,
There we go.
Prisoners. Yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed everything I've seen of it.
There you go.
So
Enemy.
far,
You've seen Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
I can't even remember it, but I definitely saw
I
it.
thought
And it
that's
was good. Yeah.
No, he's amazing.
Space Jam 2. Were you on the Space Jam?
Oh, look, it's one of those things where, I mean, Space Jam,
Yeah.
obviously, and that was the era of like Silk Looney Tune boxes
Yeah.
and like all the merchandise came back and the What's Up Doc and the afternoon shows and yeah, I liked it at the time, but it's probably not good, I'd imagine. Is it?
Well, I don't know. I was very young at the time. I was in that core demographic.
Same. Yeah.
So
I mean, I
it's
think
like-
I'm older than you, but yeah, I
Yeah.
was still in that. Yeah.
But I loved it as a kid, and I don't know. I haven't revisited it. It probably isn't that great.
I bet it's a great kids movie still.
Yeah.
Like I bet it still totally works.
Yeah.
As you know, that's how it should work.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Like,
well, I don't know, I think I'm looking forward to the new one. We'll see. It's got a weird plot line.
Yeah.
Where they get sucked into like a weird AI, evil AI.
Okay.
Like,
I think that's better than being like, and the monsters are back and they're even taller.
Exactly right.
So,
Something a bit different.
Whatever.
Yeah. Jungle Cruise? Not for you?
I don't know. It just looks a bit like a toothless kind of Jumanji.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the biggest set ever built or whatever.
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
That's supposed to be out by now, but nothing about that like screams to me like.
Yeah.
I mean, I like The Rock how he's in a tiny little tugboat uniform. It's so small on him, but yeah, I can't look. It's a family fun kind of situation. I like Emily Blunt. I think like you, I liked the new Mary Poppins quite a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You like that? Is that right?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I loved it. It was really good.
Yeah. Me too. I thought it was really good. I really liked it. Yeah.
It's nice to hear that because I don't hear it a lot.
Nah, it's good. People don't know what they're talking about. It's a good movie.
Right, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Like, what would you be most excited for next year?
On here, oh man, it's just gone blank again. What have I done? Well, Dune is up there.
Yeah.
Just because of that director. But I really want to see Shang-Chi because I want to see like martial arts in the MCU.
Yeah.
I think, and we haven't seen really anything about that. It's also got Ronnie Cheng, who's a great Australian comedian, in it as well. In terms of TV, Loki looks very interesting. All of that Marvel TV actually looks really interesting, but probably Loki's the one I'm most excited about. And Suicide Squad, I think.
Yeah.
Because, looks fun,
Yeah,
I think.
looks really good.
It's going to kill a bunch of
James
people.
Gunn,
yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm same.
You're a Tom and
same
Jerry
level.
guy, though, right? There must be part of you that
Tom
wants,
and Jerry. I miss
part of you that wants to just say Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry. I don't know. That'll be fun.
I think that'll be like your Sonic kind of that level of like.
Yeah, I reckon.
Which
so.
is fine.
Yeah.
Again, yeah.
Just an easy thing to watch. I think for me, it's probably the Marvel stuff. What I'm most excited about from the Marvel stuff is WandaVision. I don't know. I just really think it's just that looks so quirky and weird, and I love like classic 50s television stuff. So even that element, Dick Van Dyke Show is one of my favorite shows ever. Yeah. So even I just think it looks so weird and so exciting. But other than that, maybe Suicide Squad, Top Gun 2. I love Top Gun.
I'm not a huge Top Gun
Really?
fan. Like I haven't watched it recently, to be fair. But I think it's unintentionally hilarious also.
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure.
And I don't know
sure.
I don't know whether they made it that way. It was probably done tongue-in-cheek. But that being said, I haven't seen Top Gun in 15, 20 years. I have no idea.
I rewatched it this year.
Yeah, right.
Rewatched it, and it holds up.
Holds up?
Good.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. There is that, like, the bravado of it, and it's very like homoerotic, which I think is incredible as well. That I don't know whether they did that on purpose, but I just love that it comes across that way. I think it's really great. But yeah, Top Gun 2, of course. Yeah,
there you go. And other than that, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year for movies.
Definitely,
that is for sure. We've got some subscribers and listeners have wrote in. Written in.
Silly questions.
There are some silly questions here. We're going to get these ones out of the way.
That's fine.
Gus asks, why are you the way you are?
Yeah, good question, Gus. I think that's deeper than you think. No, look, I don't know. I am who I am. I think a lot of people will be like, this is me. Who you see is me. Like, this is mostly me.
Yeah.
It's probably like a heightened version of me. I'm probably quieter in real life, but this is essentially, that's not what he asked. I don't know, man. Fuck, I don't know. Why are you like you? Why are you asking me dumb questions, Gus?
Yeah. Well, Kevin has been a bit nice. He's asked how you are. How are you?
I'm good, Kevin. All things considered, I've had not the worst year ever. Family's happy and healthy. So thank you.
Beautiful. Simon Oxlade asks, is cereal soup?
No, it's not. It's not. That being said, I do eat cereal with a soup spoon because I think soup spoon is the superior spoon. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's controversial.
I agree.
Okay, cool.
I do. I use the big spoon too, yeah.
That's what I want to hear. I love cereal.
Ray Morris, we got this from two people. Ray Morris and Rusty Sprouts asked, is it Dune or June?
Or June? Well, it's Dune.
Yeah, we figured this one out finally. Yep. And Jacob asks why.
Yeah, why? Good question.
That's a good one. We can pick apart.
That's not probably one for me. That's one for the ages. You know what I mean? It's something for you to figure out. Yeah, I think it's personal. You know what I mean? It's a personal preference.
I think so. Yeah. Existential.
Exactly.
Everyone stands for themselves for sure. Raccoon Dog. I like that name. He asked who would win in a fight, 100 Mesos or 50 Santas from the Santa Claus.
100 Mesos, 50 Santa. Well, the Santa Claus is magic.
Yeah.
But he's not invincible. He can be killed. He can fall off a roof and die.
Yeah.
It'd be Meso, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Meso's got some seething rage in there towards probably Tim Allen and those movies. So, yeah. And also, would that mean that those 50 of those Mesos would become 50 Santas?
Possibly.
Because you become the Santa
once you kill Santa Claus,
yeah.
Jeez.
Just a thought.
Interesting. Detective Herbert Covington.
Oh, yeah. I've seen this name before.
How do you like your oatmeal?
What would you consider a traditional oatmeal, though? Is that just oats and, like, milk?
I'd say so, like a porridge sort of thing, yeah.
I'm a bit of bran,
Yeah.
bran sticks, bit of honey, regular milk, probably a light milk.
Yeah.
You? I don't really eat it.
So I don't really eat it either, but I'd usually have it with, like, honey on top. And,
just a bit of flavour.
Yeah. So I have to have the flavour.
Maybe some cinnamon. Maybe just chuck it on there.
Yeah, give that a go. That's the silly questions out of the way.
That's all right.
Let's get some serious ones.
Let's do it. Let's get serious.
Chris Parker from 3C Films has a really great channel on YouTube. 3C Films.
You've mentioned him before, I know this
Yeah,
guy,
I had him on my show last week.
Of course.
He really loves your stuff.
Oh, thank you.
He says, how long did it take you to find balance between creating content and family times? Any tips? Because I've gone full-time now on YouTube for a while, and I'm finding it difficult to manage the two. Big sandwich for life, he adds on the end there.
Nice. Thank you, Chris Parker from 3C Films. It's like anything, it's trying to find a balance. I try to prioritize family. So if I'm working on something, my son comes in and he's like, I want to do this thing or whatever. I'm like, fuck it. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like if he wants to wrestle or whatever. Or at the moment he's discovered the Nintendo Switch. And but yeah, I try to prioritize that, especially because he's going to school. He's not going to be at home anymore. So it's like, I don't want to be the dad from, I talked about this recently, but like all those 90s kids movies who are like, I'm too busy, I got to do work or whatever. I try to be like, well, the reason I got into this and moved, to work from home is so I can do that. So I would say prioritize your home life and just work when you can. Yeah. It's not helpful because I don't have a great balance, if I'm honest.
Well, I think you do quite well.
Depending on the day.
James Titchmarsh, is a patron supporter.
Thank you.
He says, how has becoming a father affected your experience viewing and criticising film? Has it changed as your kids age and as you grow as a father? Also, can you make me a big sandwich?
Last question, no. But the rest of those things, it definitely. I think I've definitely become more like emotional in watching movies. I don't know about you, Rick, but it's probably the same for you. You get affected by things. Sorry, Rick's just behind the camera, everybody, just say that. But yeah, I think so. I think I'm also more accepting of like kids' movies as well, like with your Sonics. Like if I'd have seen that like 10 years ago, I'd be like, fuck this movie. Well, they've ruined Sonic or whatever. But now I'm like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Yeah. So I think, that's probably part of it. I've definitely softened. I think so anyway. I'm also meaner in a lot of ways. I don't know. Yeah. Is that right too? Yeah.
Modern way, yeah. John Mortensen asks, I know you have your big successful podcast, as well as many less successful podcasts.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have any big plans for 2020 beyond that, or any new stuff you want to tease?
Oh man, look, I'd love to be like, I've got this huge thing lined up and it's all happening. There was kind of a thing with Screen Australia that I haven't talked about at all, and I was thinking of doing that might still happen if I kind of get my ducks in a row, but also my priority just kind of shifted to survival. You know what I mean? Just kind of, I don't want to stagnate. You know, I want to keep doing like the same things, unless you like doing it, which I like doing the same things. But no, I wouldn't say there's like a big thing that's like you're not going to believe what's down the pipeline. It's like more of this, more of this regular stuff, but maybe some other stuff. Every now and then you get an email and
something just
everything just changes. Yeah. What about you?
I'm same. I got no plans yet. I haven't planned anything. I know what evolutions I'm doing next year. That's about it.
For now.
Yeah, exactly right. A couple of fun questions.
Sure.
Lockie Teller asks, who is on your Mount Rushmore of movie villains?
Let me think about this. I want to go like Hannibal Lecter and Darth Vader, but it's probably... I'd have to think about that. That's one of those ones I wish I had read beforehand.
I read it beforehand and didn't even think about it.
I might come back to that. Let me think about it, Lockie, and I might if I remember before the end of this. Yeah.
The Ashtube asks, what's your favourite 90s superhero cartoon that's not Batman?
Let me think. What was there? Spider-Man was good, wasn't it?
X-Men.
X-Men was great. I think that Iron Man series I quite enjoyed when it was on. I know Batman is the best.
Yeah, for sure.
It is the best one. Yeah. And then leading into like the spin-offs of that, like your Supermans and your Justice Leagues, and then back to Batman Beyond and all that. So that's the kind of realm that I like. But I can't say that. So X-Men, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, X-Men were both really good.
Yeah.
They were both.
Or they're not good. Or you watch them now and they don't hold up as well as Batman.
Exactly right. Sriniwas Sharma says, well, this is another one that's probably hard to answer if you haven't thought about it. If you could make a movie of your choice and cast whoever you want, what genre would the film be and how long would the film be?
Oh, man, that's so specific. I wish I had something in the can of like, this is my dream project and I'd get this person, but I don't really want to make a movie, if I'm honest. Yeah. It's not really it's not really a dream of mine to do. Maybe one day, but no. What about you? You interested in making movies?
Yeah, it's always been a passion of mine. I think that's what really, it is what kicked off all of this, really, is just wanting to make movies and tell stories and stuff.
Totally,
Things shift. The way I'm doing things now, I'm really loving doing documentaries. Yeah. It's not something I was ever really that interested in.
You could easily pivot into that. I mean, you're doing it already, so yeah.
So I don't know, but I would have loved to make a movie one day. But then the more you study about the film industry and... Yeah,
it's a bit of a shit show, isn't it? Yeah. But I guess like most industries.
Exactly right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's maybe in a few years. But also, I had another thing to say about that and I blanked it. I don't know.
You blanked it?
No, I'm not making a movie.
No? All right.
No, I don't want it to be bad. Like, I know that when I was making it, I'd be like, I know this isn't good, and I don't know how to make it better because this isn't my skill set. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now I just look like an idiot. Yeah. But that's not a reason not to do something because that's how you get better.
You get better, yeah. And grow and all that
stuff. There's a pen on this. Look at this.
There's a pen, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
They're pretty good.
Pretty good.
$150. Wasn't it like $150 for the pen? Higher, I'm getting the...
It says pencil.
Well, there you go.
I was going to spin it. I do a pen spin. I'm just going to put it down.
Yeah, $180 just for the pencil.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah. Magnetized.
Well, it tells you when the pencil's on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Technology, huh?
Yeah, right.
It's crazy. Yeah. That's all for the questions.
Anyway, Mount Rushmore. Darth Vader. Hannibal Lecter. Just them again. To follow those guys.
Hans Gruber from
That's
Die Hard.
Yeah, totally. The Wet Bandits.
Yes.
Chuck a couple of those guys on there.
That'll do. That's enough. What's that? 3, 4, 5. Yeah, done. That's enough. Beautiful.
Done.
Anything else you want to say? That's all the questions stuff out of the way.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the questions. I really. It's very surreal being here. Like you see it, and then you come onto a thing, and you're like, it's a real place. It's all real.
That's cool to hear.
But of course, it's real.
Yeah, it is. That's just all my
plugs.
My
go for
imagination stuff. Do I have plugs?
Oh, sorry, I meant Sorry. Because it's at the end. You do the thing, wrap up.
I'm going to do the wrap up right now. That's all right.
Yeah, I'll be quiet.
No, you're all right. That's all we have time for. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. It's been amazing.
I loved it.
It's been awesome. And I'd love to do it again.
I'd love to have you on as well.
I would love to be on.
Mason and I were talking about it would be good to have you on because we want to talk about the live action Disney remakes. Yep. I think you'd be a really good fit for that. Yeah.
I'm down.
Excellent.
Let's make it happen.
Done and done.
Let me know, and I'll be right there. This is my final show for 2020 on the podcast here. I'm taking a break for a couple of weeks. I said top, probably 2 weeks, might be longer. I think it's probably going to be 2 weeks. I've got to be a bit serious about it. You got to get back in before the YouTube tanks.
Yeah, well, January's a great time to take off because there's no money in it.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what I'm thinking. I might just take it easy this month. I'll do a couple of little things. Thanks for listening to these last 16 episodes. It's been a lot of fun. I will be back in the new year with more podcasts, more YouTube stuff. The podcast goes out every Monday, except for the next 2 Mondays, on all podcasting platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible. Visual Elements also available on YouTube, which you know if you're watching. That goes out at the same time. But if you're a patron, which you are...
I am.
Again, thank you very much.
I'm listening to this Friday night, mate.
Amazing.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Thank
you very much. If you're a patron supporter, you can get the 2-day early access on the YouTube video, the video Visual Element. You can find me on YouTube at Dave Lee Down Under, over on Twitter, Instagram. Otherwise, links... I said it again. I said it otherwise. I don't know why it's there. I reckon I use this same... template every week.
That's why I was like, you got to plug some stuff or whatever. Because I saw this on the list. Yeah.
I reckon at some point I must have had something in there that was, and otherwise, anyway. There's links in the description. You can click through. I think originally was if you search this, you'll find me. Otherwise,
that makes sense.
Anyway, you want to write into the show, you can shoot an email to daveleepod@gmail.com. If you're listening on podcast platforms, leave a review. It helps. James, Mr. Sunday Movies, please let people know where they can find you.
You can
all over.
Look, I've got a podcast. It's called The Weekly Plan. It comes out every Monday. A lot of fun doing it with my good friend Nick Mason. YouTube videos 2 to 3 times a week. BigSandwich.co is where you can sign up. We have like bonus podcasts and things like that go up there. Movie commentaries, and that's all the things I've ever done and will ever do. Yeah, and look forward to my upcoming movie. It's going to be so good. You're going to love it.
Can't wait.
You're going to love it, mate.
We'll cast it and we'll figure out what it's about and how long it is another time. As far as me, for my YouTube preview last week, I released a bunch of coverage on the Disney Investor Day, my Wonder Woman 1984 review, and some cartoon news about Space Jam 2 and the Disney Investor Day. That's all up there. This week, I'm finally going to get out my Grinch cartoon evolution, which I've been working on, and it should have been out this week.
I hope that just like...
I hope it does too. Well, it's Christmas, so I'm hoping. And it's a short one. The shorter ones tend to get more traction.
Yeah, cool.
As the algorithm works that way. I announced a bunch of Christmas-themed rankings, and as I said at the beginning, I always make too much work for myself. I think I'm probably going to get one of the 3 out, but we'll see. James, you got any content? The previous videos that have just recently been up, stuff that's coming out?
What is coming up? I don't know. Caravan of Garbage. We're looking at the Wonder Woman in 2011 pilot. Mm-hmm. There was which also Pedro.
I was going to say Pedro Pascal was in that.
I was watching it and I'm just like, what the fuck? What's happening? Stumbled into a weird dimension. So that's coming out Tuesday. And we're going to do a Mandalorian wrap-up. I think I mentioned that earlier.
Awesome.
Oh, no, the Weekly Planet on Monday. Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Exciting stuff, everybody.
Exciting stuff. Yeah. That's it. That's the show. Thanks so much for watching again and listening, whatever else you're doing. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And thank you once again for joining me. It has been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. COVID safe handshake. All right. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one.
It's a thumbnail.
Next year. Yeah.